Welcome to Tabletop Topics. I'm your host, Jeff.
And of course, Jeff.
Today we have two new special guests with us today.
Oh yeah, long time coming.
Oh, for sure.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Tri'shawn.
Hi, I'm Shamecca, aka Tiny.
Yeah,
Hey,
nice
there you
to
go.
meet you. Nice
There
to
you
meet
go.
you.
Nice to meet you.
So I was talking to my brother over the past weekend, and I heard we're in trouble with you on, what was it, one of the episodes?
Yep. You got it. You said
you're
you
here to
were gonna call us.
reprimand us. You're here to call us
You're
out.
gonna call us out on.
So what's the deal on that?
What's the deal? Or what's the question that you?
Yeah, what's the question you had? Yeah, for sure.
I guess I should have wrote them down. But I listened to some of the things that you guys were saying. Going back to the alien ones.
Mhm.
I was telling Jeff just that day, I said, I think we're the aliens. I think we're aliens. It's the things that I'm seeing and how things are transforming. I hear, like, it's a video going on right now where a basketball player, he went to go make a dunk. And they believe he's an alien because when they slow motion, his hand extended a little bit around the ball. So I'm like,
Did you hear about that?
See, I always thought like basketball players was on a different type of stratosphere in terms of humanity. But one example I could give you is probably Ja Morant. Like, because his vertical is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So like when he jumps, like, you know what hang time is, right? Right. So like when he jumps, he gets to a point where like he reaches the apex of the jump, and that's normally where people start to go back down. But like when he stretches his arms out, he gets like that extra boost. So it looks unnatural.
So like he's kicking air.
Yeah, like he's airwalking or something. I don't know. Like, hold on. Let me pull that up real quick. But yeah, continue what you were saying about
Aliens.
and
aliens.
then it's like, I was saying, like, how we are formed. It's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we look like a tadpole.
Right.
And then it's the eyes, the arms form, and and the crazy thing about it's not the women that produces. It's us that, well, we carry the egg, of course. But if the man don't intercede the egg, then how would we?
Then there's nothing.
There's nothing. Therefore, it's like you guys actually carry the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys, I'm like,
right.
Since birth.
Because like, because think about it. Like, there's this thing online where they'll show examples of fetuses, right? Like, not fetus, but what do you call it? Embryos. And they're showing embryos across like the animal kingdom. And if you look at all of them, they all start the same beginning stage. Embryos for different species. Here we go. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Look at this. All right.
See, there you look like a seahorse.
That one looks like a pig. The second row on the first
Which one? This one?
and the brown.
This one.
Yeah.
Go down.
Yeah, look.
yeah.
Okay,
See,
yeah.
that looks like that is a
Well,
pig.
yeah, that is a pig. They're just basically showing you the different types of.
Right. And a good one is like, here's like an example of different embryos. And it'll show you we all start off. I don't know why it's so hard to get. Okay, so fish, salamander, tortoise, chick, hog, calf, rabbit, human. Look at this. This is all the entry building blocks of like a fully of the precursor to a.
And they're all
fetus.
close or similar.
And they're all closely related. And of course, this all goes back to the whole, shared DNA, shared RNA sequence. And then depending on what genes or traits are activated, that's what it becomes.
Okay, so where's the ape at in this when they say that we form from apes?
Well,
Like,
like I said, because from here, like, this is how we all start off.
Right.
Depending on what genes activate, that's how we will end up. So like let's say by accident a gene for, reptilian skin activated. This person would fully develop with reptilian skin because of that gene that was expressed in
Which is why a lot of people sometimes believe in like reincarnation, because essentially, like you said at the beginning,
like the beginning of life all starts
like that.
exactly the same.
It just depends
we
on.
all look like this. And depending as the cells divide and develop, what genes are activated or expressed, whether it's blue eyes, from simply to just blue eyes, or brown skin, or like some people who are born with, I wouldn't say defects, but with defects where it's like you have werewolf syndrome, where a gene expressed in, apes or canines is activated and they start growing fur and hair all over
their body. Yeah, you seen the
You see what
wolf
I'm saying?
family? Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
for me, I feel like there's this shared DNA, and humans just build upon that, that structure that was already there, and we're just formed the way we form. If you feel me?
Yeah.
But like in terms of like aliens, like there's been a lot of discoveries and breakthroughs, like the RNA world theory, where it's like RNA is just a naturally occurring, I don't want to say protein, but like a naturally occurring structure. They found RNA came from volcanic glass, volcanic silicate, and once it touches or bonds with water, that starts building different structures, such as RNA, which allow for protein construction. So it'll start making proteins, and then those proteins will then expand to single cell organisms, and those organisms will work together, and then that's how you get different systems in the body. Because like if you look at our body, we hold a lot of viruses and bacteria that exist outside of biology.
It's just our system has to create a defense for them.
Right.
Like we've always held the perfect example, COVID-19 virus in our body. It's just it wasn't we didn't have the cells.
Right. It's like they always say, scientists always say, we hold all the DNA or all the RNA for every virus ever. Like every virus has a genetic segment that we all hold in our body. Ours is just more developed, more expressed. We can build antibodies. We can build, mitochondria to power cells. But
So yeah, you're right. We're aliens.
so we are aliens in that aspect. Yeah, in that aspect, we are aliens.
But don't tell a religious person that.
But that's the thing, though. We are not actual aliens because we were formed by God. God created us, and,
Right.
and we have our being because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how could you explain that we are aliens when there is a God that created us?
Okay, so my question for you would be, and for everyone else, right?
That's listening. Yeah.
That's listening. So I believe in God. I believe in the God. But for me, there's like a balance of religious text versus observable, truth. There are observable truths, and just because in the absence of evidence is not evidence itself. So just because I can't see God or
doesn't mean he's not.
doesn't
real.
mean he's not there. But my interpretation of the Almighty, this all-powerful being, goes in relation to what I observe in the universe, right? Prime example, all the information out there is in the universe. It's just up to us to uncover it. So anything that we invent already existed.
Diamonds.
The instructions for a lot of the things that exist already existed.
Mm-hmm.
So one way I could compare the two would be the statement where God is all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful.
But then you're gonna have those people that say, "How can he be all-knowing?"
Well, here's the thing.
Omnipotent,
All right, so
all-powerful?
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, isn't all the knowledge in the universe? So it's all-knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the universe infinite and ever expanding, and it's everywhere? It's omnipotent. It's everywhere.
Around it,
Omnipresent. Yeah. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere. And it's all powerful. There are things that happen in the universe that basic physics can't explain. So like when we tap into the knowledge in the universe, we get closer to what you would say, I wouldn't say godlike, but we are doing things that you would only observe in biblical texts or from witnesses. Prime example, we can make meat out of plants.
Yep.
We're genetically engineering, medicines for us to further our life. You see what I'm saying? These are things people were living with thousands and thousands of years ago. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of things that you can you read in the Bible, like someone like who was it, Moses or Jesus turned wine into water. Jesus turned wine into water. That's actually possible. Like
Turn water into wine.
Wine, yes. Yeah.
Turn wine into water.
Turn water.
Everybody needs that liquid.
That'd be
Remember,
amazing.
Jeff, they're gonna correct you.
No, for sure. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because this is a learning experience. Every day that I'm awake, it's a learning experience for me. But and these are just like the observations that I make, and I try to form connections between them, rather than just outright dismissing it. Because I do believe there is a God. Because at the end of all knowledge, there's something or someone that we cannot explain.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much we advance, what we're capable of doing, we could travel the galaxy and we still won't know everything there is out there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so in that aspect, that infinite quest, that infinite looming idea that there are things we will just never know, in that aspect, that could be God for me. Because there are things that we will never be able to achieve that only in biblical texts God can achieve. You see what I'm saying? Like explaining the true meaning of love.
Do you understand where it's coming from?
I do.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, all right.
No.
Right.
Your eyes look.
Yeah,
like
just
they're-
let me know. Yeah.
If he's speaking Chinese,
yeah.
let him know. I'll
Just
put
let me
it.
know.
I'll put it in English for you because, sometimes he says
Just let
things
me
that
know.
nobody understands. But if you understand, yeah, that's good.
Go
Ahead. No, if you had a question.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So what was that? What was I saying?
There's a lot of things that we as human beings, no matter how far we
Right. Like
expand
there's
and
just some things that we cannot explain. It was like when I kept bringing up the example, how it took 100 years after Galileo said the Earth wasn't the center of the universe for us to actually realize that. You see what I'm saying? There are some answers that just because they aren't there, they aren't observable, doesn't mean it's not true. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there are things out there that we're fine. Like prime example, we have no understanding of what dark matter is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there. It's everywhere. It's passing through me, you, every day. You know what I'm saying? We can see subatomic particles. We've broke down essentially, the building blocks of matter itself. And we can explain that. But that's just information. What do you do with that information? Mm-hmm. And in that aspect, there are some things that we are incapable of doing that only a godlike being is capable of doing. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I do believe there is a God. I do believe there is a God.
Like we always say, we are the universe. Everything that the universe is made of, we as human beings.
You can find every element in the universe inside of us.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So in one aspect, I feel that we are just a construction of the universe experiencing itself. You see what I'm saying? Because we have the process of thought, and we could actually think about what we're observing. Because I was having a conversation with Jeff, and it goes to the question where it's like, if you don't look at the moon, does it exist? Reality only exists because you're observing it.
Mm-hmm. It's like simple terms. If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
Yes.
But you don't know that.
But
if you're not there,
you're not there to observe it. So how do you know it made a sound?
It made a sound.
You're not there for your ears to pick up the sound waves, translate the sound waves, go to your brain for your brain to register that as a sound. To say that the tree made a sound.
So the question is, does the tree make a sound only if you're there or if you're not there?
If you're not there.
If you're not there.
Even if you're not.
But you don't know that because you're not there.
I don't have to be there to know that a tree made a sound when it falls.
But the only reason why you know that the tree makes a sound is because you're there. But what if you're not there and the tree doesn't make a sound when it falls?
Right.
You can't hear it if you're not there.
You can't hear. You can't observe
You
it.
can't observe it. You can't hear it if you're not there.
And
Right.
that's basically what we're saying.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like in that aspect, I can have faith that there is a God, even though I can't observe him
or see him.
or see him.
Just like you said.
Right.
You know that there's a God, even if you can't see or hear him or her or what.
Right.
Yeah.
You can hear him. You can hear him. He does speak. And
And
if
what-
you know
and-
the voice, if you know his voice, then you know that there's a difference between evil and good.
Right.
Because God, the voice of the Lord is still, is calm, and it's with authority.
Mhm.
But it's also gentle and soothing at the same time. So that's the difference. Now the voice of the enemy, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect your spirit because it's telling you something bad. The enemy the bad never tells you anything good.
Mhm.
It's always something bad.
Mhm.
So you will be able to differentiate the difference because one is good, one is evil. God is never going to tell us to do anything bad. He's never going to,
He's not going to steer you towards the wrong
Right.
direction.
Right.
I understand
Right.
what you're saying.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So my question is, how would you quantify good and evil? Like, is there all good? Is there all evil? You see what I'm saying? Because it's like
You're going to use the Nazi example
the Nazi
with the science?
Oh, okay. So prime example.
Yeah.
A lot of medical science a lot of medical advancements has been achieved through evil, through acts of evil. But the product of medical science is good. You understand what I'm saying?
But in order to achieve it, they had to do bad things.
Whether it's to humans or to animals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You see
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Test.
But it benefits humanity. Is that good or is that evil? Because there's no other way you can understand biological makeup of organisms, of people, of humans, of animals, without dissecting and observing them. And then, depending on what the person or that group was thinking about that, does that justify whether it was good or evil? Or is it because, the people who committed it were deemed by the masses as evil? What if the Nazis had actually won? You see what I'm saying?
Because in order,
What is good and evil outside of historical context, preconceived ideas, and what you hear and what you read?
The,
Go ahead. Yeah,
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
Yeah.
the evil comes in when there's what is your MA? What is the motive?
That's why I guess
What is
your
your
motive?
motive behind that? Because if scientists are using animals to test them to destroy say diabetes, so in order for them to know that it works, they use an animal first. If it works on that animal, then they go to the human and they use that same on a human. Now if it works on a human, then okay, now we've created something that can help. But does it help everyone?
No.
no.
Okay.
No.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's the question with back in the day. How many people had to die in order for us to live? Heart surgery.
Heart surgery. Who was the first to get heart surgery? Who was the first
and
to
I
take
guarantee you,
the vaccine?
hundreds and thousands
Thousands,
died
yes.
before they got it right.
Right.
And it's the same thing with transplant, marrow, all that stuff like that. So it's like, is it evil because they did it on people before they did animals? Because the DNA of animals and the DNA of humans are two different things.
Right.
So yeah,
I was
you
gonna
can
say
test subject a rabbit or rat all the live long day, but at
Right.
the end of the day, we need to be
We
the
need
test
to be,
subjects,
right.
which is why they do the trials.
Right.
Or signing off your life at risk to see if it works or not. If you die, it is what it is. But now it's ethical. Back
Right.
in the day,
It gets into ethics.
back in the
right.
day, back in the day, it was no, you have no choice. We're just gonna do it. It's like when they tested the gas on the Jewish people.
Mhm.
They had to test that gas because later on in history, what did they do?
Mhm.
They used the gas to kill other
Yeah.
people. But that's the thing, science. So the question is,
For me, it's a balance of science and religion. And the reason why I say that is because, on one hand, science has been used to hurt a lot of people throughout history for this all purpose of, extending the bettering the quality of life, extending life expectancy, and just end suffering. But on the same page, it's the same thing with religion, and that goes for all religions, where religion has been used as a tool for destruction. It's been used as a tool to silence intellectuals. It's been used as a tool to
Control the mass.
to control masses and hinder advancement, ethical advancements. You know what I'm saying?
That goes back to
The Library of Alexandria.
that goes back to the motive.
Right.
What is
What-
your motive
yeah.
behind all that? Is your
Right.
motive to hurt, or is your motive to help? Maybe I have hurt, but it's hurt to help later.
Right.
But if my motive is my intentions is to hurt and then to continue on hurting, then that's the evil part of it.
Right.
Someone had to die. Even when it came to cancer, people had to die to get the right formula. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The right medication, the right doses to help those that come behind them.
For sure.
Do we
For
want
sure.
that to happen? No, we don't. But not everybody.
Is right.
You know what I'm saying? So in the long run, just because our ancestors had to die with it, but therefore our family today can live. So the motive behind it is to help and to continue to help, but not to do it in an evil way to hurt. Even when people come up with these concoctions like the anthrax, someone make that in their basements and then put it in the mail. It wasn't to help, but it was to hurt and to continue on hurting.
Right.
Because back in the day, when you open up that package, even if that powder went in the air, whoever was in the vicinity, you got affected.
Yeah.
And whether you died or not, it was evil, because it wasn't to help or to run test subjects. It was sent out to hurt. So that's evil.
So
from
that
jump.
just goes to the basis of good and evil.
Good and evil.
Yeah.
And even with that, like, that's also, like, for me, we can't, there's, as much as we study psychology and stuff like that, there's no way to quantify good and evil.
No, there isn't.
It's
a balance.
That's
how come they do the Chinese do yin and yang, and then of course there's a little bit of evil.
in
and a
all
little
of
bit
evil,
good.
there's a little good, and a lot of good, there's a little evil.
And that's because of self-gain.
Self-gain. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Self-gain.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is
right.
most of today's society.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right. Everybody's out for self.
Right.
Look how much I'm paying for gas.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Man,
talk
that's
about it.
wild. Man. That is wild,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I had to like start canceling trips and be like, "Yo, man, gas is almost $5, $7."
Even if you want to go 2 miles down the road, you got gas money. You got $5.
Like seriously.
$5 doesn't help.
No.
Not anymore.
No.
It used to.
Not
You
anymore.
need 20 and 30 these
Yeah,
days.
Yes.
yeah, to even get like
Yes.
few gallons, 5 gallons.
Yeah.
That's wild. But like even in that aspect, like for me, it's like how Julie always says, like, give it to God. Or it's like we can't, there's, as much as we like to have different fields of science to explain, morality and things, like, you can't quantify good and evil. You can't say like, here's good. Like it's not an entity. It's more spiritual. That's something you have to feel. That's something that exists outside of your body, outside of the observable sciences. You know what I'm saying?
Because in the Bible, it tells us that we have to learn to do good.
Yes.
So when we're born, we already know how to do bad things.
Right.
We know how
It's
to
easy to
steal.
Because
Yeah.
kids lie.
You
Yeah.
know,
They don't
kids
even know.
lie.
They don't even know it's a lie.
You
Yeah.
got a 1-year-old that did something, and you ask that child, "Did you do it?" And they shake their head no.
They shake their head
I
no,
mean, that's
yeah.
the first word is no. When
No.
yes, you did do it. So the Bible tells us we have to learn to do good, but good is in us. But you have to be taught.
Right.
You got to be taught good. No one has to teach us how to
Be
how to
bad,
be
yeah.
bad or how to
Yeah.
do hurtful things or
Yeah.
say hurtful things. But you need to be taught that's not good. That's not right. That's evil. That's not how you treat people. And then it's up to you to wanna
Yeah.
It's
be
a want,
nice,
right.
to wanna be good, to want to treat everybody with respect. And not just say, okay, well, the color of your skin, or because your hair look different, or because you're lighter than I am. You don't want to do that,
Right.
But all of that is taught.
But
Right.
it all started from heaven. when Satan was kicked out of heaven because he wanted to rule.
Right.
He wanted to overpower God. He wanted to rule. So he got kicked out, and he took a third of the people that was in heaven. He took a third of them with him, and he was cast down. So he's roaming in as well as God. Jesus
On this earth.
is on. He's on the earth. He's a prince of the air.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the evil part, and then it went back. It goes back to the Garden of Eden. So I mean, that's where the evil started, right then.
Evil
in the
manifested
beginning.
itself
Right.
as that.
It
entity,
started
right.
there. It started in heaven, and he was kicked out, cast down. Then in the Garden of Eden, he betrayed. He tricked Eve because she didn't obey her husband, and the husband stood there. Adam stood there and didn't put his foot down and tell him, no, God said this. He didn't do it. He led her. The serpent betrayed her, tricked her. So it all started from there.
Right.
And that's why evil is in the land. Evil will continue to be in the land until Jesus comes back. So until then, it's a choice. It's a choice.
Free will.
There you go.
Free will.
That's right.
Free will.
You can choose to be good, or you can choose to be evil.
So
Yeah,
That's
Right.
right.
That's literally what I was gonna bring up after you were done talking. I
Yeah.
was about to say, all right, so then where does free will come in that? Because at the end of the day, you can choose to be bad or you can choose to be good.
that's all
Right.
choice. That's the only thing he did not take away from us was a free will.
That's what God isn't forced onto you.
Right.
You know, we can witness and encourage and talk about the goodness of God, but it's nothing to force. It's nothing to demand you to believe what we believe. But it's, you know, we have to have the tools to show you or to tell you why we believe what we believe. But you have the choice to either accept or reject.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we got to search out our own soul salvation. You know, if we die, where are we going to lift up our eyes? Because heaven and hell is real. So if I could pick an opportunity to encourage you and to tell you about the goodness of God, but it's going to be your choice. I can't command you and demand you, but I can just lead you to him.
Right.
Now it's your choice. And you know, the cliche is you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
No.
You know, so I could lead you to the front door. But if you choose not to walk into it, then that's on you.
That's on you. It's a choice.
I got you.
You got me?
fine.
You
Yeah,
got me?
Yeah.
Got snap. Got snap. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
Speaking facts.
For sure. I feel it.
Right.
I feel it.
Yeah, man.
Right. But something else you also said in one of your sitcoms with Justin, and I saw it on the news.
Which one? The Fears of Freedom or what was it? Smoke and Mirrors.
Look, Smoke and Mirrors, you guys are crazy. I didn't want to tell you that. You guys are crazy.
Oh,
Did you
man.
listen to Smoke and Mirrors?
We
Like
went-
you.
Went off the rails.
Yes. You
Hey,
guys
hey,
are
but
crazy.
it made sense. Like I was telling them earlier, you can find all that information on the internet. It's not like they're hiding it.
Right.
So
Right. A lot of this is available.
yeah, these are all real people that mysteriously got deleted.
Did you get the video I sent you?
Yes, and I sent it.
You
to
sent
my
it to your brother?
Yeah,
And
and he said that was crazy.
That was
So,
He
did
did-
you get it?
Oh yeah.
Yes, like that was when I saw that a few times, and because they're trying to say that the shooting in
Buffalo.
Was government intentional, meaning because the young man that went to the Texas and shot up them babies like that, they shot him, but this guy here, you know, they called him out or however it was, he freely gave himself up.
Yeah.
But not one gunshot was fired at the young man. And they're only going to charge him with one account of murder because of the black man there. They said that he invented, but he picked up.
He picked up where that last guy
left
Left
off
off.
at where he
Patent with hydrogen water for cars.
Yeah.
yeah, you could run your
Water
car off of
fueled
water.
car.
Yeah, water fuel cars.
And water is free.
Free.
So
Yeah,
how do you
it's
make
free,
money from
I'm
it?
telling you.
Yes.
It's all about the check.
It
If
is.
If they
It
can't
Yeah.
they can't monetize off of it, we don't need it in the
Money is
society.
the root of all
evil.
evil.
For sure.
All
Oh, for
evil.
sure.
It's
Top
and
of
it's
the list.
not the fact that you making money. It's, you know, how you want it all of it to yourself. You don't want to share it. You get mad because somebody else do it.
Got it right.
You know,
Or
got
more
it.
than
You
you.
know, you why hate me because my few dollars get me by. You know, do something to get you a few
Right,
couple
that's what I'm
dollars.
saying.
You know
Like,
what I'm saying?
switch up, change up your routine. What are you
Yeah.
doing? You
Right.
know? No, that's facts.
That's
That's facts.
crazy.
But yeah, man, it was like I told Jeff, it's like with things like that, you know.
But we're crazy, guys. We're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say. They say.
You know, and it's not bad to believe things like that, because it's like you've seen time and time again that one of the media's purpose is just to instill fear in you.
Yep.
Because once they get you scared, you'll eat up anything from them.
Right.
Anything they tell you will get you to go into action.
Right.
And you don't know what the enemy or who the enemy is.
Mhm.
But they want you to hate something or someone
Yeah.
or an idea. And that's where, like, you got to take a step back and be like, okay, what's the reality of the situation? Like, what is their motive? What are they trying to tell me? What are they trying to get me to do?
To control us by fear.
By fear.
Right.
That's the easiest way to control people.
That's why we.
Fear.
Right.
Make them afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Make
Right.
them feel like the victim. Make them feel like the others are coming to get you.
Right.
Right.
You know.
I mean, like even all the Karens that's out there, like you know the shooting. They wanna. When I first saw it, it was they were saying it was racially motivated.
And that's
You
not
know,
true.
it was by, oh, he killed up all the black people, he did this, he did that. But I actually got to see the video that he uploaded live.
Right, yeah.
And it was two Caucasians outside of the store that he shot point blank first.
Without a bat in an eye.
Yeah,
he
so how was
done
that racial profile?
But that's the thing. They're not gonna. Like he said, the media is not gonna tell you. They're only gonna tell you what they
Right.
want you to hear, and that. So a lot of people, most of modern Americans, will just eat up the. Oh, it was racially motivated. So then, of course, people in the black community are just gonna focus on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you're gonna have the other side fighting against us and saying, no, that's not what it was, because look, this is the video, blah blah blah. This is the person that got shot.
Trickery.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
Trickery.
Right.
Exactly.
And it goes back to the whole idea where it's like you hear talks of, well, it's a culture war. The culture of what? You see what I'm saying? What, like, if you could scale down in totality what American culture is, what is it? And why are we going to war for it? I don't know what it is. If you ask me,
do you guys know?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what this culture war is going to be about. You see what I'm saying? But that's the seed that they're planting. Well, this is how you think, and they're coming for you. If you like traditionalism, they're coming for you. They're going to cancel you. They're going to do this about you. If you're more progressive, they're coming for you. They're going to take your rights away. They're going to kill you. They're hunting you down. And it's like they're lighting a fire that wasn't there.
Basically, my opinion on that is to try to bring back slavery, but without naming it slavery.
Well,
Yeah.
what is today? What is capitalism? That's modern day slavery.
Slavery,
Right.
Yeah.
yes.
Capitalism's modern
Right.
day slavery.
Right.
And another way is for the Afro Americans to kill off each other, kill off
Oh,
themselves,
right.
so that, or to give them a reason to do it because they're saying we're so aggressive.
Mhm.
We're aggressive and we're so dominant,
Mm.
and that gives a reason to do it without being charged, sent to
Right,
jail,
sent to jail, right.
Right.
So the
mask it over.
best way is to cause us to kill off ourselves, and then, or if one of the other races comes into play, oh well, this was self-defense.
It was
Basically.
right.
Right.
I feel it.
I mean,
I feel it.
even what I was telling you about the news on last night. I try not to watch the news. Listen.
It's not working.
It's not
It's not working.
No, because my husband here watch the news. I'm listening to it. I'm right there. And something caught my attention. A young black girl around town, and they saying that she, was a shooting that happened a few years ago that killed up two young young guys.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The
You
two
know.
high schoolers went to Lehigh Senior, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. Killed them, and they said she was the lookout. And her trial was going, but she got sentenced, and she got sentenced to life.
Yeah.
And in her final statement, she, I heard what she said, but right after that, mind you, she didn't kill nobody, she didn't shoot nobody.
She pulled a
She
trigger,
said she
none
was
of that.
there to perform. I guess she was into entertainment. So I don't know the young lady, but I don't know. I've just been watching it recently. She just said I was there to perform. I was there to put on a show, and this happened. I was just so happy to be standing where I was standing at. But right after that, a young Caucasian, 20-some years old, admitted to killing somebody. Yeah, I killed this person, and he ran and hid, but they caught him. He only got 25 years.
That's wild.
25 years. So
That's wild.
was it
crazy.
an example that they were making of this young girl,
Yes.
in which the prosecutor after that, she made the statement stating, "Oh, this is an example of if you do the crime, you can lose your life for the rest of your life." But who does it fit for? Is it the African Americans or is it the other race?
Right.
Because here, this man told you he killed somebody. You got the evidence that he killed somebody. But so therefore, he's gonna have an opportunity
He's
to
the
get
main
out.
purpose, right?
Yes. So
right.
therefore, 25 years on good behavior and gang time, you might see the light of day again. You might be old, but you're gonna see it. But she has no opportunity to see sunlight ever again, but on the rec yard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where is that? What kind of example are you setting?
There's no true justice.
No,
in
so-
there isn't.
that aspect.
And even so.
What's out?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
what was the motive? Like, what was the motive of saying, like, whoever turned her in? Because following this, they would say, "Oh, she got turned in. Somebody told on her. Somebody did this." Okay, well, what was your motive behind it?
Right.
But she
What were you
she
trying
did
to do?
not pull the. I understand. Going to school for law and criminal justice. If I'm with you and you commit a crime, I'm
I'm
just
the-
as guilty.
You're an
Yeah.
accessory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. You know what I'm saying? But you're singling me out now. One.
And I received the hardest.
Yes,
punishment.
I'm a female.
Right.
For two, I'm an African American female, and my life got taken because I was there. But yet this one did the actual. You took somebody's life, and with your bare hands, but you only got 25
But you only
years.
got 25 years.
25.
And it upset me in a way because they showed this right,
Right
after.
after.
And
Ah, okay.
when I say I could have took my phone and threw it into the TV.
And I think that's the purpose of it, to get you upset, to get you angry, because like you said, watching the news does not help, and for them to put that straight after that
Right.
they did it for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like that was just so disturbing, and I'm like, am I hearing what I
Because
heard?
it's like, for me, it's like I watch these trials and I already know how it's going to go. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, instead of waiting for the result, why don't I go out there, help prevent it? Why don't I go out there, talk to people, educate people, help people find resources, to not
Yeah,
end up in
because
a
talking about it
situation
all
like
the
that.
live long day is not going to change
Yeah.
the
No.
outcome.
Yeah.
No.
And
Yeah.
then being angry,
It ain't
just
going to change the outcome
wallowing
either.
in self, and that's energy you could be using
use it for something
for
else.
Yeah.
something else,
Something else.
to do action.
It was
No.
crazy. I mean, they say change start with self, but somebody walk up to you and slap you. Are you gonna turn the other cheek? I haven't arrived there yet.
Oh no, we're still on the way. What? We're still on the way. So I can make a few stops. What? I can make a few stops.
All I
What you
can
talking
say,
about?
don't let the devil use you.
Oh,
no.
man.
You know,
Oh,
I
no.
mean, and a lot of it goes to how we were brought up, our upbringing
Yeah.
as well, how we were raised, and the environment. It wasn't until I got grown where they said, "Don't." What's the saying about don't live like your environment? What's the saying? About something about your environment.
Don't reflect your surroundings, something like that.
don't let your environment control you or
Yeah.
how you live or how you back to the good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I might have grew up in the hood, but do I gotta act crazy like the hood?
No, you don't. Like
You know?
it's always a choice.
Yeah,
It's some
always a
successful
choice.
Yeah,
people
and
that
I-
came out of the projects.
Yeah, and like
Right.
because a lot of people like to blame the white man or America or their situation or where they grew up, and it's like it's always a choice whether you want to get out the hood, like you're saying, or it's always a choice if you want to get out that dangerous situation. So
Like, yeah.
we
It's
have
okay,
the free will to
right,
make
to
a
make the
choice
choice.
to be
It's
better as
it's
human
okay
beings.
to come to terms with knowing that there's this force that's outside of your control that will work hard against you.
Mm-hmm.
But you still, at the end of the day, the power you have is the choice
Mhm.
to not accept that and want something better.
Better,
And to do
exactly.
something better instead of fall in line and do what everyone who came before you did, or everyone who came after you did, or the people around you who influence you. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and not everyone can get out that situation, and that's completely understandable. If you're in a situation, you have to do, things accordingly to get by. Like, still educate yourself. If you're gonna gangbang, be the smartest gangbanger.
Right,
You see what I'm saying?
right,
If you're gonna move weight, know what you're doing.
right.
Know how to stay out of sight. Like, be for real. Like,
that,
yeah.
that or the money,
Educate-
or
no
that,
matter what situation you're
Yeah.
in, educate yourself.
that or the money you make, invest it in something better, so you
Right.
can eventually get out of
Divest
what
your
you get. Yeah,
investments.
Right.
Don't buy a new whip. Don't buy new wheels.
Don't buy a
watch. Don't flex on people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The
Right.
ultimate flex is you getting out the hood and bringing the people who was there with you. You see what I'm saying? That's the biggest flex. But a lot of people don't see that.
Nope. It's just
They see,
people don't see
it, but
that.
it be too late.
It'd be too late.
You know, it's
It'd
when
be
they
too late.
sitting in that 4x whatever cell,
Yep.
and they got time to think.
Think.
Now it's like, oh well, maybe I should have done this, or
Mhm.
maybe I should have opened this business, but doing shoulda, coulda, woulda, it's too late.
exactly.
Late.
Now you're 20, 30 years in,
Yeah.
lost
And
your
you're stuck.
freedom.
Yeah. And you're stuck. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say they're stuck, but the only time you're really stuck is when you're in a cell.
Right.
Now you really
right.
stuck.
But I mean, like even with Tri'shawn, she said she grew up with her grandparents.
Mhm.
Grandparents back in the day is definitely not like grandparents today. See, grandparents back in the day, they raised the kids. They will whoop your mama, even though they the grandma,
Yeah.
and you got your mama.
yeah.
The grandma be like, give me that child, give me that girl, give me that son. You go do you. I'm gonna raise them. But the grandmas these days want to pop and drop it like it's hot with the
Yeah.
grandkids.
They
You
That
wanna
is
be
know?
on-
crazy.
Yeah, they
That
want
is
to be on
crazy.
TikTok.
But
with the
how
kids.
was being raised by your grandparents?
Yeah, how was that?
Because we've never met our grandparents.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was-
just immediate family.
it's just all of us.
couple-
We don't know our cousins. We don't
Yeah.
know our aunts. It's just us.
Yeah.
So my mom's been raising us our entire life, and we kind of just wanted to get on top of that and ask you, how is it being raised by your grandparents?
It was awesome. I was sheltered. I was sheltered from a lot of stuff. I didn't know a lot of things. I learned the hard way, but I learned
Belt or
respect.
beating stick?
Hmm?
Belt or beating stick?
Both switches. Switches.
Hey, yo, break off the
Switches,
branches.
yes.
Ooh,
Broke-
it's
just
time.
broken?
We
All
go to
right.
work.
Where's the sandal? Where's the sandals at?
Yes.
Oh, man.
No, there were no sandals.
Oh, that was too
switches.
soft.
Ooh, wee.
Yeah, straight switches.
I don't know what
Oh.
the switch is.
You don't want to feel the
I don't want to
traction.
know what a switch is.
It's a little thin. Some say branch, but it's a little thin and it's flimsy.
Oh, it
Yeah.
starts,
And
Yeah.
it's, yes.
It was like
It-
when mom used to break a piece off of the.
yes.
and
when
then
we
clean
said
it.
something rude in front of her friend,
Mhm.
and she's like, "All right, hold on, click, broke that off."
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
mommy.
it's green.
Yes.
So it doesn't break easily.
Yeah.
And it's very flimsy. And it
Flimsy.
goes.
Yep.
It makes that noise. Yes.
Yeah, that whistling
And
noise.
it leaves webs on you.
Mhm.
Real good.
Mhm. That's bad.
Yes.
That's
But
bad.
I mean, look how you turned out.
I mean, because she instilled morals, values, and rules. There were rules. When my grandmother's like sisters or people would come around, I wasn't allowed to sit and in the midst of grown people conversating.
Conversations.
I
okay,
wasn't
okay,
allowed
okay.
to do that.
Mhm.
I either had to go outside, go in the room. I was not allowed to sit in the midst of grown people conversating. If there were other children around, we would go out and play. I wasn't allowed to spend the night. Other kids wasn't allowed to spend the night with me, and that I understand now.
Mhm.
That prevented like molestation
Mhm.
and
Any
you know
type of
any
assault,
type of
yeah.
any stuff
Yeah.
like
I
that.
got you.
That prevented all of that.
For sure.
That prevented me being introduced to things that were bad early. That I wasn't.
I got you.
Yes.
See,
like,
and that's where I would come in, where like that could be like a bonus because your grandparent is already wise. They've experienced all the ups and downs in life,
Mostly probably
you
downs.
know,
Yeah.
and they can instill that knowledge, that wisdom, so that will guide you,
right.
to the end of time.
My grandfather, he was a slave.
Wow. Okay.
And my grandmother's dad was a slave owner.
Oh,
So my grandmother,
okay.
she's real light skinned.
Mhm.
She's Indian. Very real long, pretty hair. My grandfather was real dark. I mean, like blue black.
Oh,
black.
okay, okay.
10 minutes to midnight black.
Yeah. So my grandfather, he would go out and he would work, and we had I don't remember how many acres of land, but we never had to go to the grocery store for anything like flour, sugar.
He grew everything.
We grew
Wow.
everything right in the
The
backyard.
natural stuff.
That's
Yes,
fire.
right in the
Yeah.
backyard. Potatoes, tomatoes, you name it.
Mhm.
We just walk out the back door, go around right there. And we had pigs, chickens, cows.
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean, I didn't experience have to go to the store and spend hundreds of dollars on groceries.
So
and
that was a
stuff.
learning process.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But like that's
what state was that in?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. It's like a lot of people have no idea how to grow a garden or
Exactly.
take care of it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like there's that value that,
And the knowledge that you can instill in your
and
kids.
I bet you have patience through the roof.
I do.
I bet you have patience through the roof. Absolutely.
She does.
That's why.
Especially
That's why Shamecca hates me.
and
And probably her.
Especially like when you're raising animals, you're
Yeah.
taking care of.
Listen.
Right, absolutely.
patience.
Yeah,
Wow.
she does. She's very
what's up.
quiet. I mean, she can voice, but when I say let me not say hold it in, but her patience.
Right.
It's like, okay, you got one more time to mess up.
Yeah.
And then that one more time, okay, you got one more time to mess up. But when that one more time is up,
You'll
she
know.
coming for
You'll
you.
know that
And she
was
knows
the
what
last
she's
time.
capable of because her grandma showed her what she was
Yes,
capable of.
yes.
See now in that growth in your childhood, like what was your relationship with her? Did you ever feel that like mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I called her mom up until the day that I actually met my mom.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then it still went beyond that because that's all I knew. That's who I
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
was
yeah.
my
Right.
mom. And
Right. It's
and-
that feeling.
Right.
It's right.
she would, I just felt like she protected me from everything. When I
Mhm.
say everything, I mean everything.
Mhm.
She would literally have this old, these dusters. Well, we called them dusters back then. They snapped down the front. They had the pocket.
Yeah, my mom had those when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
So my
My
grandmother
mom
would
had that.
take me and wrap me up in it from the tail of it and wrap me and just rock me. I
Wow.
was able
That's
to
what's
just
up.
sit in her lap until my feet drug the floor. She was just real nurturing, real loving.
Wow.
Every evening we would read the Bible. On I can't remember the exact days, but there were days out of the week. All of the ladies would come over and we would have Bible study. They were seeing my grandmother was her sisters, and her mom and cousin. They all had a gospel group.
Okay.
So I grew up in church.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew
for
up
sure.
in church, and then at a young age, I was I guess, grandfathered or grandmothered into as an Eastern Star. And so that's,
What's an Eastern Star?
that's something like, have you ever heard of a Mason? I say it's like a cult.
Okay.
I say that it's like a cult. But there's leverage of like powers that you could, I'm not going to say get away with, but it's like a family.
Okay.
And if anything bad happened, and say she's an Eastern Star also. Well, Eastern Star is next, is the wife or someone that's related to a Mason. And there's certain protections that you have with cops, judges.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I know. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
So
I feel it.
I, at a young age, my grandmother was, my great grandmother was, all of her sisters, I believe, they were in it. So I was growing up in church into all of that. Church isn't wasn't back then like now.
Yeah.
Church was church.
Oh, it was church.
I mean, you go in there and say
Pull out
a
your sweat rag.
It was a work day. You had to get ready. You know, it was a work
You're
day.
And
taking
a
layers of
shut-in.
clothes off.
and a shut in, you literally shut in for days. No food, no water.
No, yeah.
You literally nothing but praying
Wow.
and singing. That's it for days. We went in on a Friday and didn't come out until like a Monday morning.
Of the church?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seriously.
That's
Yes.
wow.
And we like the neighbors, the neighborhood. I didn't grow up in the projects. My grandparents, they had a brick home, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, brick home. My grandfather added a porch, a lanai onto it,
Nice.
closed it in, screened it in. In our neighborhood, everyone knew everyone, and they knew everyone's children, so they were allowed to chastise.
Right.
Each other's
Okay.
children.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we all grew up as a
She's
family.
like, nah.
Yeah.
Don't do that today.
No, not to,
Because
today.
you might
have
get
to
whooped.
fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we all grew up as a family. We ate from each other's table. Like if the neighbors had to go to work or something, my grandma would watch their children, or
They would eat with
yeah,
y'all and
yeah.
everything.
all of that.
Sure.
So it was awesome. My childhood was good, and then I had some bad moments
Oh, okay.
also because I didn't know who my mom nor my dad. I didn't have them.
Okay.
Okay.
So
okay.
that was the hardest part of my childhood.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
But as far as being with my grandparents, love, respect. I was taught to love, to respect, to treat everyone as I wish to be treated,
Right.
to give, and just basically have a good heart.
Yeah, be the best human
Yes.
you could be.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So my question for you is, what made you decide to take that leap and leave, knowing that you didn't really know the outside world as well, because they kind of sheltered you, as you say?
I was tired. My grandma, she sheltered me for all of my life. And I understand.
Rebellious stage guys.
Pretty much.
That's basically what she's
Pretty
saying.
much. I
As
did.
they said, she started smelling herself.
Yeah. I was a tomboy most of all of my life. Still is a little bit. And I started getting into boys around 12, 13 maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the start of the rebellious stage, by the way.
But how I ended up moving to Florida, to
Yeah.
Fort Myers, is my mom, she was already here with my brothers. I have 2 brothers and a sister. And they were already living here. I had never lived with them before. On and off when she would come home and, But my baby brother was hit by a car.
Ooh.
Broke both of his legs. One of them was broken in like 3-4 different places.
Wow.
He was in a cast from his waist down. Broke his collarbones. He had a concussion. Messed him up pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom needed help because she had the other 2 kids. And she had to remain working. So because I was the eldest, I came down to help her.
You felt comfortable doing that, seeing how she hadn't been in your life?
I did, but and I didn't
Okay.
because my grandmother always told me that I didn't know her and she didn't know me, so we were gonna bump heads, and there were gonna be clashing, and you know, because we didn't know each other, we didn't have a bond. True, it did happen. I hated my mom.
Wow.
I did. And until about maybe 10, 15 years ago, now we have a better bond, and I actually love her.
Okay.
I, you know, told her I forgave her for not being there, and I understand what she did. Now I understand versus to when she did it. She left, she got married, and had more kids,
Oh,
but
wow.
left me with my grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
and
okay.
my grandmother told me that I was there from birth. Well, my mom left when I was 3 months old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would understand why you would
Yeah.
why you would feel that way.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I grew up with a lot of hate, a lot of anger, a lot of emotional problems and stuff. I used to fight all the time. I was just evil. If you looked at me, I just felt like you were on the attack, so I would attack you before you would get
It was
to.
like you defense.
Yes.
Right.
So even
right.
as strict as your grandma was with you, you still had that pent up emotion
Mhm.
from not having your actual mom
Yes,
there. Oh,
yes,
yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
It was rough. I mean, that was the roughest part of my life, and then having to transition from not knowing really much. I was green when I moved down here.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anything. I had never been introduced to gays. I never seen that. Never.
Like you were shelter.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. See,
Okay.
up there I was so sheltered until, like I said, I never seen gays, never knew anything about them, never heard of it. Like all of the drugs and stuff,
Mhm.
never.
You
Didn't know that either.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Nope.
Wow.
And there was a lot of things I never saw. My grandmother, my
She
grandfather.
discovered the internet.
Did you ever, so like at any point in time, were any of these like, did any of these learning about like this new experience that you're experiencing when you come down here, did any of that kind of influence, you know, how you behaved with your mom, or just like how you felt about growing up with your grandma? Like, grandma, why didn't you tell me about this? Or like, were you like confused, a state of confusion?
Kind of, sort of, but I've always been the type to sit back and just observe and form my own opinion on what was right or what was
I
wrong.
knew I like you for a reason.
Yeah.
You don't prejudge before you know that
Exactly.
that person.
Right.
It's always
right.
about understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Always about understanding.
Yeah,
That's what's
so-
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not the type to judge. I don't. Because I'll tell a person quick, if you only knew my story,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't, everyone goes through things and they do things for a reason.
Yes. Exactly.
There's a reason
Yes.
behind
Everything.
everything.
Mhm.
So no, but yeah, when I met my mom and stuff, we used to clash real bad, really bad.
Well, like you said, just up until 10, 15 years ago, that's when you guys actually started.
Yeah.
Really
Actually,
bonding.
yeah, like really
Right.
bonding.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
Shamecca, you ain't out the loop too. What's going on your end? Like
yeah.
Well, I didn't.
your upbringing and why you decided to come down to Florida, and then when did you two meet? Because you
Well,
guys act like sisters more than friends.
yeah, her husband says that same thing. But I wasn't raised with my biological parents.
Okay.
My biological mom was on drugs real bad, and me, my sister, and my younger brother, we were left in the house by ourselves.
Damn. That's crazy.
And it's crazy because I ask myself and I don't ask people, why do I remember that day as if it just happened? And it was so traumatic, things that happen to you traumatic, you can remember so regular.
Yeah.
Whereas the happy times, it's like, oh, I don't remember that.
Trauma's what sticks, not happy moments. Yeah.
I don't know how long we were left in the house, but with little kids playing in water with our feet dirty, the floor's dirty. It was a knock at the door, and two white men came in them old school suits.
Oh, but no, with the
the suit,
The men in black.
The men in black.
Yeah.
We need you to look into this.
We're gonna make you forget for a second.
Right. They and I opened the door and they came in and he's like, "If your mom is here," and I said no. So my sister, she's up in a chair with her hair dripping wet. So the guy picks her up and grabs me by the hand. At the time, my little brother, he was just now crawling. So he's backing up off the bed. The bed was actually mattresses on the floor.
Yeah.
So he's backing off. And the other guy went and got him, and we left out and never turned around. To this day, she's passed on.
And where was this at?
In New York.
New York.
New York. I was born and raised in New York. And
what part?
Queens.
Okay.
Queens. Even I was brought up in Queens, but when this happened, I couldn't even tell you if it was Brooklyn, Bronx, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It had to be in Brooklyn because the agency we came up out of was in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And me and my sister were so close in age, and they didn't have a family to take all three of us. So me and my sister went from home to home. My baby brother went from home to home and
separated.
For how long?
Oh man!
And there's no way to keep in contact.
No, we were young, mind you. I did not know that I had sisters and brothers above me. I had a sister and a set of twin brothers older than me, and once they took us and we went to this home, how we would meet up, we would go to an agency. And that's how they would bring the kids. All the foster parents would bring the kids and with their siblings, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, we would go there, and the agency would supply us with toys and stuff like that. But that's how I kept up with my brother, that we were all together. Okay. But we had went to at least 4 or 5 different homes. We stayed from 6 months to a year, depending on if they wanted to adopt us or not.
Wow. So
that's different.
So going to a different home doesn't necessarily mean you're part of that family.
Right.
So it's like, what is it, like a test run or something?
No, because
that?
People can be foster parents and adoptive parents. Foster parents only keep them until they get housed permanently.
Okay.
Until somebody wants them permanently.
Okay.
It's sort of like a group home, but it's a family oriented. It's not just a building full of just kids running around.
Okay.
A couple of homes we went into, mind you, I was like 4 when it started, because me and my sister's 18 months apart. Mm-hmm. So, and then her and our brother, they're like 12 months, 18 months. I mean, all of us.
So you're close in age.
Close in age. And it just was going from home to home. And, this one house we went to, I was ready to go home. And the people's son wasn't ready to go home. So he wants to play basketball. So I said, I'm going to go home myself. Mind you, that her oldest daughter came looking for us. And I'm standing on this busy street corner by myself.
Wow.
So we went home and I got a whooping for it. I mean, they stripped me down and whooped me.
Wow.
Me and my sister, we were pillow fighting on the bed, and the lady turned on the fire. In New York, you got flames on the stove.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, who told you guys to be playing in the bed? And we're little girls, we playing with each other.
Right.
We're playing.
We're kids, right?
And,
for sure.
She tried to burn my hand. She took my hand to the flame, and me so young, and she's asking me, well, who told you to do this? And instead of me saying you, because you got my hand doing it, I'm like, nobody. And I used to mess in my clothes. You yell at me, and I used to just mess up my clothes. I was just trauma. We got with the family, my mom and dad. And on my 7th birthday, we got adopted. I got adopted. Me and my sister got adopted.
That's awesome.
Our names changed. She kept our first name, but our middle names and our last name changed. She gave me and my sister her first and middle name.
Do you still go by that?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
she is my mom. You
Right.
know, he
Yeah.
is my dad. That's all I knew. It wasn't until back in 2010, I was working at Edison College and in the advising department, and I got an email. And this email stated, you know, I'm your father. This is your name. This is your sister's name. This is your date of birth. And I'm this person and I'm your father. And I'm like, and no, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
how do you process that?
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
lot.
And
That's a lot.
I couldn't because I ran to my supervisor and I just broke down. And she's like, what's wrong? I said, check the computer. And I was telling her what happened. I told her my story and she read the email. She's like, OMG. Like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm not going to do nothing. That's not my father.
Yeah.
So I called my sister and I said, Des, I'm not going to call this man unless you want me to. It's what you want me to do.
Right.
She's, oh my God. She was so excited, so happy. Mind you, this 2010. So, what, 12 years
12
ago?
years ago.
Yep, 12 years ago.
So we called them together and I went in. I'm like, you got the nerve to email me and want to tell me I'm your daughter. Like, where you been?
I would have
I
questioned
mean-
it. I'm like, how did you get my email?
Right.
That's and I did. And mind you, the picture that he sent me in my email was my high school
Whoa.
graduation picture. Remember MySpace was up?
Right.
He didn't hit me up on MySpace. He didn't hit me up on
When Facebook came
on
out.
Oh,
none
nothing.
of that.
None of the social media.
And the picture was my high school graduation picture. And I asked him, how did you get that? He said for the past 15 years, he had been searching my name. Wow. And he said it came up when, if you Google me, that's what comes up. So 15 years, he said every day he would always ask his kids, go online, see if you could find us, see if you could find them. And the picture popped up. And he said as soon as he saw the picture, he's like, oh, that's my daughter. And
wow.
he sent me the email. After we talked to him, and my sister, she's on the other line. Shay, be nice. Don't be so mean. Don't be so rude. And I'm like, well, you talk to him then. And I let them talk.
Yeah.
But and listening to him and hearing how he searched for us and how he was looking for, it was more hurtful because of the things that we experienced. I had to protect my sister.
Yeah.
And I got the abuse trying to protect her from it.
Yeah.
And girls, they want their dad.
Right.
Where was my dad? Where's my protector?
Your protector.
And my thing, I
That's your
asked
shield.
him, I was like, why didn't you fight for us? And back in them days, in the 70s, he's with a white lady, and to this day he's still with her. And they was like, oh, your mom said she didn't want me to have you because I was with her.
Wow.
And I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
so she wasn't in her right mind anyway.
Right.
So the audacity of anybody to listen to her like
Right.
that. And he was like, well, I couldn't do nothing because even though she was strung out, back in them days, it's whatever the mom say, that's what goes.
Wow. That's
If
changed
the
a lot.
mom says no, it's no. You got visitation rights
But
and,
that's about it.
and sleepovers, but
That's it.
and to like recently, because I remember the last time I saw him, he put his phone number in my pocket, and I think in 2014 is when I went to go see him the first time. I flew to New York by myself. The first time I've been on an airplane.
And she don't like airplanes.
And I freaked out there
Yeah.
too.
Dog, I got a thing with airplanes too.
Yeah, so I did meet him, and I met him. I met everybody, and everybody kept saying the same thing. Your dad's been looking for you and your sister, and I'm like, well, he looked hard enough. When I say
Yeah,
I
I
put
got
up
you.
that brick wall with him, I put it up, and every time he tried to come through, it's turned into cement.
Yeah.
Like, why am I here?
You gonna keep
Like,
running into it.
prove to me that you're my father.
Yeah, you were holding up all that anger.
Right.
Yeah, I
inside.
was, and he let me give it to him. He let me. I let him have it, except for cuss him out. Kept it respectful.
Right.
She probably
but-
cussed him out, but she's just
Respectful.
Yeah,
yeah,
respectfully.
respectfully.
But I did ask him to prove that you're my father, And lo and behold, he pulled out my original birth certificate. He pulled out, I have never seen me as a little girl, baby pictures. He pulled out a picture of my sister in a diaper, me running around with a pull-up on, holding me and my sister. We had on the same shirt and Winnie the Pooh dolls, imitated Winnie the
Wow,
Pooh.
that's awesome.
He showed me other pictures that I had never seen before. I never knew what I looked like under the age of 5. Yeah, you know. And we looked up my mom, and she had died in 2004.
Wow.
Being out there, you know, in the street, she had contracted HIV.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
with pneumonia, that's it.
That's
Yeah.
And she passed. And mind you, me and my sister was looking for her up until the year 2000, because at that time they had a USA search, and we would always try to search, but the further we got, they wanted money.
They wanted money.
So
Okay,
we
yeah.
stopped. We stopped
Yeah.
looking, and if we had only continued, we would have found her. And you know, but I mean, even how I got to know them, that I had parents. My adopted mom and dad never kept it from us. When we got of age, she sat us down. She told us, you know, you're not mine. You're not my biological, but you do have a mom. This is her name, and you do have a father. But if you ever want to know something, I'm not gonna keep it from you.
Yeah.
And they never kept nothing from none
Well,
of
that's
us.
good, because I know a lot of adopted children go through that without, like, all the way to 18 years old without knowing that, oh, this is
Right.
not my dad or this is not my mom.
Yes.
And then that's what spirals them out to want to do drugs and all that stuff like that.
Right.
Because it's like, you kept this secret from me for my entire life, and you could have told me at an early age. So
Right.
that's good of her.
And
for her to do
even
that.
like Tri'shawn, like my mom and dad, they grew us up in the church. So I don't think I was sheltered that bad like this.
She was super sheltered.
Yeah, she was. But they kept us from the streets. I mean, I couldn't even go play. I love sports. I ran track in school in New York, and I went to the track team took us to a New York Mets game, and I got in trouble. I sat the bench. Coming back in my basketball team, I had to sit the bench half the season because while we was out for break, I didn't show up for practice. My mom says no. Us women, us girls, we didn't. I didn't own my first pair of pants till I was 19.
Wow.
We kept in the long skirts, the stockings, covered up, shut-ins. Friday night, didn't get out of there all weekend long. The Bible, like even during the summer, we had Bible verses we had to learn. So when we got back to school, each morning we stood before our mom and quoted that scripture.
Oh wow.
And even if we left, my mom said, go get her. Tell her come back. You know, tell her come back. Go. And see, that was like, I guess I sort of protection.
Yeah.
You know, that was my upbringing. You know, you're going to know about God. You're going to learn about him. You're going to quote it. I mean, even when we were out of school, we had many church services. My brother, which is a preacher now, you know, he was a preacher then. And, you know, I was the evangelist. And, you know, my sister was saying, and, you know, my brother my other baby brother here would play the drums, and my mom, she was evangelist. My dad is a deacon, you know, so we grew up in the church.
Okay.
Even growing up with them, I experienced a shootout in New York. Going to the store, taking my little brother, and I see the guys do a drive-by, and the guy that pushed me over, he got shot in the head.
Saving your life.
Yes.
Wow.
Where my younger brother winded up across the street. Wow. So it's like, whoa, like what just happened?
Divine intervention.
Yes. And to see that as a young teenager, it was like, whoa. So once my mom and dad, you know, got, you know, able, they moved us here to Florida.
That's how you end up here.
Yeah. My mom, she worked at Creedmoor Hospital, and she had her own daycare, which was Maxwell's daycare, M&M daycare. And then she had her own restaurant, cooking business, which was called Maxwell's Kitchen. So, you know, we did a little bit of that. My dad, he did his construction. So when they retired, we moved down here. I finished high school in Polk County, Winter Haven. Thought I was grown, got married, had a baby, but my son passed away after I had him. So that's how I wound up here in Fort Myers. So that's how I got here. I've been in Fort Myers 18 years now.
How did you meet
Tri'shawn.
Tri'shawn, your sister.
Well, I met my sister at the church we were going to. Me and my husband was going to another church, but when we were dating, we didn't get married in that church. So my husband's sister was like, oh, my pastor daddy, that's what she calls him, he'll marry you. So she introduced us to them. And that's how I got to meet her and do her counseling and stuff like that. But I'm gonna let her tell you the story. She met me years ago.
She's ready. That's why she's smiling.
She met me years prior, and I don't mind talking about it because I feel like it's a testimony. Not only that, but it's to help other people, other women.
For sure.
My lifestyle does not define who I am today.
Exactly.
My past definitely don't define who I am today. It's the choice that I made to want to be good. Because being in the system, kids get lost in the system.
Oh yeah.
Families abuse these kids.
Yes.
But even though the abuse I experienced going from home to home, I got with a family that the abuse wasn't abuse. It was chastisement. It was, I'm going to raise you the right way. You're going to learn. The women, we cleaned up. We stayed at the house. We stayed in the kitchen. The boys, y'all go outside and play. Saturday morning, that gospel music is playing. We up, we clean our bedroom. You had your chore, you had yours. You clean the bathroom, you clean the living room. You go do them dishes, So we was raised how to take care of a house. And my mom always told us girls, you don't need a man to take care of you. You don't need a man to do nothing for you, because all a man is good for is some good loving, and he ain't good for that. So I mean, even to teach us how we should be treated by a man, and my dad never whooped us. He would always say, he's a Jamaican, so he was like, wait till your mommy come home. Yeah, wait till your mommy come home. My mom, she's from Mobile, Alabama. So she had and how the Alabama and Jamaica. They met in New York. That's how they met.
I feel it. It's the mixing pot.
That's
everyone from the Caribbean, from the island, everyone.
Right. But once I got to meet Tri'shawn and got to know her, it's like like I said, she knew some things about me from my past that I didn't know she know. And like I tell her, I want to be real with her because it's like she know things. Right. She could read you, rewrite you, and write. You know what I'm saying? So I really can't pull nothing over her.
That's dangerous.
Because in our talking and conversation, she brought some things to my remembrance, which was embarrassing, one, but it was like, oh my God, I'm talking to this lady and she knows my past, but she never.
But she knows you.
She sees the real you,
not
what your past was.
She didn't judge me on that. Even then, she tried to encourage me. And now when she told me, I tried to replay it, and I was like, you are that lady. Like, you're her. Like, oh my God, you're her.
Pull out the man, got you.
Right?
You on camera.
Right? So that lets me know then I can be real with her. I don't have to hide. Because for one, she's not going to judge. And for two, she's not going to bring it back up. Right. And for three, if I heard it again, it's because I told it. Not because she told it, And it amazes me of how we recanted and rekindled that. Is like a merry-go-round. Eventually, you're going to come back round, but it's like, God, why did you bring me back to this? Why did you bring me? Because I've never had a big sister. I was always the big sister. And even going to New York, I met my big sister. I met my mom's people, and my mom's side of the people, family broke down and cried when they saw me. Because I look just like my mom.
Oh, wow.
When I said I'm a spit image of that lady, and only picture I had is her obituary.
Wow.
And I look like that lady. I look like her.
I mean, do you still have that picture, or is it
I still have it. From time to time. I mean, I just wanted to know why give up precious kids. And mind you, it's 12 of us. It's my other younger brothers and sisters. I don't know them. I did meet my older sister. The twins I have not met yet, but I was told they're still in New York.
Okay. Oh, wow. You ever got in contact with them?
No. Family members do know where they at. But my brother that got taken with us, we just got reacquainted 2000 what, 18?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow, that's
pretty
recent.
Yeah. So we've haven't, and I mean, even when we talk about each other, he's still trying to find his dad, but his adopted mom and our mom became good friends.
Okay.
So she just recently passed, not too long ago. My mom passed, 4 years ago. So it's like for us to get back together, it was awesome.
Okay,
It's real awesome.
Do you ever plan on seeing?
Yeah, you ever try to?
I
Yeah.
want to go back up because I just met my mom's grandmother.
Mhm.
No, my mom's mother, which is my grandmother.
Okay.
She's Indian.
Ooh.
When I say she has the get up,
the whole 9 yards with the
yeah, like
right.
her hair, and this is me seeing something on FaceTime. It's so long and silky. She's 95, 96.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm dying to get up there to meet her.
Right.
Yeah, before
Um,
it's too late. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a chance to meet her through FaceTime because my brother went over there. I met cousins. And it's like, I gotta see my people. I need to know where I come from.
Yeah,
I want to know where. Why am I the way I am? Has my environment changed me into something that I wasn't born? Because I grew up not with them, so they're not family, but they are my blood.
That's facts.
Yeah.
So it's
That's facts. Family is something you feel.
Yeah,
yes, it
yeah.
is, and even like you said, Tri'shawn is my sister. I see that she's my sister. I feel that she's my sister because she does everything a big sister does.
Yeah.
Like she chastises, she fusses, and she gets on my nerves. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about when I have to come back to her and say, you was right.
She
Yeah.
holds your power.
Yeah.
She'll tell us
Yeah.
something, and she won't pressure. Okay, you go test the water, but I'll be here when you come
When
back.
you come back,
Yeah.
And I have to let her know you were so right.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's things that I can talk to her about, secrets I can tell her. She's gonna give me her part, but then she's gonna give me the biblical part of it too. Then she's gonna say, okay, well, you do whatever you want to do. So that's a sister. That's a big sister. I'm gonna look out for you, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let you test the water, but I'm gonna be
But I'll
right
be
here.
right here
Yeah.
for
You
you.
know, and
That's what's up.
I believe, and even an instance happened where my dog called her, called her phone, and she heard me in the background. Get up, babe, get him, get him, get him. I'm yelling at my husband to get the dog, so she thought I was yelling at somebody because he was fighting somebody.
Oh my God.
So she tells her husband, "Come on, babe, we gotta go. Somebody over there fighting Tiny husband." So listen.
Pull out his gun and switchblade.
So she done got her tennis shoes. She lacing them all.
She hauling.
She's like, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Oh,
fantastic.
man.
So like,
That's awesome.
her husband's like, man, listen, I'm gonna ask questions later, but if anybody jumping on my main man, I'm going all in. So I tell
That's
everybody, if I don't have nobody gonna fight for me, my sister gonna fight for
She
me.
gonna fight.
And vice
My
versa.
sister,
Amen.
definitely
I
vice
feel it.
versa. We're not blood, but don't hurt her, don't talk about her, don't disrespect, and you better leave her alone. You know
I'm
what I'm
taking off
saying?
these
Yeah.
rings.
And you don't know.
No, I'm
We
leaving
keep
alone.
going on. What you mean?
Right, and it was a lady. We were having something at church, and the lady said, "I was trying to protect her." The lady said, "I'm not gonna hurt her. Like I'm her family." So I looked at her, and I had to step back because I was like, you know what, you are family, but it's like she's mine now. She's all
Yeah,
mine.
like-
Don't take her away. I mean, I know what it feels to have something taken from you.
Yeah.
I know what it feels to put your heart into something that is ripped away from you. I know what it feels to hurt. And people say, well, hurt people hurt other people.
Yep.
But I don't feel that because
At the end of the day, it's a choice.
it is. But what I'm saying is, if you can imagine in my head the hurt that I've been through or hurt I feel, I wouldn't want to do it
that
to the next
somebody.
person.
Yeah, it's a pain. It
Yeah.
hurts.
Like I
So-
always say,
Right.
I tell people, even if we go to act, she acting funny towards each other, she's pulling away, I feel like I done did something. So now I'm trying to contemplate, okay, what did I do? What did I say? Did I hurt her? Did I do this? And that's with anybody, because I've
Right.
told Jeff
you're,
that.
You're hyper
You
aware
don't-
of
yeah.
what's going on. It's like, is
like
it
the way you
something
act
I'm
with me
doing?
now
Right.
is not how you're acting with me
Yeah,
today.
so I
Right.
must have did something. And a lot of times she'll tell me, no, Tiny, you didn't do nothing. I just got to pull away because sometimes it's me time, me and God time, or me and somebody else time. And then it's like, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I don't. I don't want to put her on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't want to lift her up higher than what I need to as a person.
She said, "Please don't."
I know, you know what I'm saying? Because she's human. She makes mistakes. We
Right.
all do. You know, even Jeff. I tell you, we all make mistakes. But I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
I don't want to hurt you. We've all experienced hurt. We all have our own story.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could eliminate hurt from my part, when you say you love me, when you done took me in and sheltered me and grooming me to be that woman that I missed growing up, or showing me, teaching me, because I also stepped off the porch late. Yeah.
Well, but like you told me too, because you gave me this advice. You said don't also lose yourself to helping everybody else, because you got to remember you got to help yourself first before you can help anybody
First.
else. And that always stuck with me that you told me that, because she
Right.
gives me advice too. As
Yeah.
as much as
Thank you.
as
Yeah.
much therapy
Thank you
as
for
I
taking
get.
care of this man.
But not, and you know what? To honestly, I think that came from her.
Okay.
That came from her telling me that. So this
And
lets
then
you
you spread
know
the message to me.
that, and
and it stuck.
Yeah.
Because I remembered it.
Cause see, and that's not only remember, but you heard me. Our pastor broke something down between listening and hearing.
And hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
difference.
difference,
It's a difference.
you know,
difference.
and that lets me know that I'm not just listening, but I'm hearing her. Because when you hear the words that are coming out of someone's mouth, it gets deep down inside you.
Yeah.
So in the right moment, the right time, it plays back again. So therefore, now that she has encouraged me and gave me words of wisdom, I can't keep it to myself.
No.
Let me pass it on.
And then
You
I
know,
pass it on.
And then you pass it
Yeah.
on, you know. So even though my lifestyle bringing up wasn't all good, and I wanted my biological people, you know, it hurts me. I sort of kind of feel some type of way, but I said if I had not been through what I've been through,
You wouldn't be
You
you.
wouldn't be here now.
I wouldn't be me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
what if I would have got strung out on drugs, or, you know, saying, what if she would have turned me on to the streets and doing things for drugs, you know? So I'm grateful for that. My mom and dad, I love them. Even my siblings, we all got adopted as babies. My brothers, you know, they got adopted when they were babies, but we don't use that word adopted or adoption. This is my mom and dad.
That's your mom.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
and I tell people that's my dad. You know, we might have another father, another dad, but this is my father.
Yeah.
But she has it good. At least she has two dads. I don't know who my dad is.
Yeah. So that's why I don't complain too
Yeah.
much, because
Yeah.
you know, I don't, you know, because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people
yeah.
want that, and girls want their dad. You
Yeah.
know, I
lot.
mean,
Yeah, because they say from birth to 10 or 11 years old, you're supposed to be with your mom, and from then on, it's your dad. 'Cause
It's
your
your
dad
dad.
teaches you the morals and the
See,
protection and all that stuff like that.
I want to go back a little bit to where you were like how they would keep the girls inside, teach them how to take care of the house. I feel like some aspect of that should be done with men as well.
Yeah.
If you teach them that responsibility of managing a home, they can manage their business outside of the home.
right.
And then when they come home, everything's under control. And all of that doesn't just have to fall on the wife or the woman. But like they have that understanding of responsibility from a young age, and not,
Right.
oh, he's a boy, let him go play. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I mean, my dad, he would have the boys. He'll take, because my dad has his own construction.
Mhm.
So I know how to paint. I know how to put up
There you
sheetrock.
go.
I know how to
Yeah.
put up, you know, walls, the door. And even to right now, my dad is 86 years old.
Mhm.
And still he's trying to
Still
build.
working, bro.
He's still
Yeah.
working, you know. He's still moving around, you know. Bones hurt, but, you know, that's age. But yet it's still, he's working hard.
Yeah.
And he's always, both of them have always told him, work for what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't sit down and have your hand held out.
Exactly.
If you can get up, go get a job.
Go get a job.
Go get a
Yes.
job, you know. And they taught me that at the age of 15. I had to get my own first job.
Mhm.
It was at KFC. My mom said, okay, where's your paycheck? I cashed my check. She said, give me $25. You use the water, you use the lights. I gotta wash your clothes. And I didn't understand that, but she was teaching me responsibility
Yeah.
and accountability.
Accountability.
So even then, even when I would run out of money, I'm like, Mom, can I borrow some money? She said, no, you can get your own money. not knowing she was actually saving my money and teaching me, put this back,
Right.
Yeah.
save this. And
Which is why you're so good with money.
yeah, so it's like everything, it goes back to the teaching, how you was brought up. You know, kids that are in the system, they turn to violence, they turn to gangs because gangs teach them family.
Right.
You know?
And that's all they've ever wanted. That's all
Yeah,
they
really
that's
teach
all
them
they
that
want.
the wanting, the longing, like I fit in. They'll take care of me. They'll protect me.
Yeah.
Right,
They'll provide
because
me
I
with
even
these
asked my
things.
dad, I'm like, you didn't want me? Like, you didn't want me because you didn't even stay with my mom. And he told me, look, she was strung out. I tried to keep her clean. I tried to keep her on the right path. But after me and my sister, because me and my sister belonged to him, he's like, he had enough. He left, you know? So it's like that longing for family, that longing for truth.
Yeah.
You know, don't love me because you get a paycheck.
Right.
You know, don't keep me because, you know, 'cause with foster kids, you get money. You get money for them.
Yeah. An ends to a mean.
Yeah, so
essentially,
but my
right.
mom and dad, we never lacked. We had toys. We had, and I didn't like sharing with everybody else because my birthday's in June. And then everybody else's birthday is like August, September, October. But yet in June, when I got my bike, they got skateboards, or I got rollerblades, and and I'm like, but it's not their birthday. It's
No,
my birthday, you know?
It's about me.
Yeah, exactly.
But my mom and dad taught us unity with us siblings. You watch out for one another. You take care of one another. You know, Shay, you're the oldest. You look out for the younger ones, and you know.
That's facts.
You know, that's what I
That's
did.
facts.
You know, so I mean, yeah, Tri'shawn, she's my sister. She's my sister.
You look like you're in deep thought right now.
Yeah,
Like, you got something to say?
Just listening.
yeah, she is. So I mean, you know, it's everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
Everybody, because I even listened to how you guys were raised and how your mom brought you over
Oh.
here to save you. You know, but even though she raised you as a single parent, she did all she could do to keep you together. You know, she didn't give in. She didn't give up. Times were hard. You know, coming to a new country and not able to speak fluent English.
But what kept her?
But
Her faith.
faith,
Yep.
you know, at the
They both listened to it, so
yeah, so you know
She
what I'm
never
saying?
gave up.
She never gave up, and that's why she has the kids she has today. You know, you guys work hard. You guys are entrepreneurs. You know, you're go-getters because your mom was. You know,
Yeah.
when you have that example before you, that's all you know.
Yeah.
So
I
you
never saw her give up. So
No.
in my
And that's
mind,
why when
like,
we started this, we're like, no, we're gonna do it. If
Yeah.
we say we're gonna do it, we're gonna do
Right.
it, and we did it.
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
because even
so-
my mom, she retired from the hospital, but came down here, opened up a daycare center, opened up a restaurant. You know, I mean, she kept going. She
She
kept
just
going.
keeps going, giving back, and
Giving
doing
back,
more.
you know,
Yeah.
and teaching us. I didn't never want to get my license for kids. I just like to play with the kids. So that's all I did. Playtime was me, you know. But her and my sister, they went through the course. They got their license, and you know, I designed the M&M daycare for my mom, so she had a home
Oh, that's
daycare.
fire.
Yeah,
That's
so we still have her logo and her shirts, and so I mean, even now I go see my dad, and that's my dad.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's my dad.
That's
You know.
pops right there.
And Tri'shawn's
So-
your sister.
Always remember that a mother will, a true mother will for the sake of her children.
Yes.
Right.
And that means that will means she will go to the limit
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of her children.
Right.
I have 3 boys, 3
Mhm.
sons, and so I used to sit back and wonder how was I gonna make it? How was I gonna take care of them? I worked 3 jobs and I was a full-time student.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I did some things that was not right, some things that I'm not proud of,
Mhm.
but I know I had to take care of my kids.
Mhm.
And in the midst of it, I always taught them respect.
Yes.
Respect yourselves, number 1.
Right.
Mhm.
Respect others, and responsibility and accountability.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell
That's what's up.
those are
Right.
building blocks.
Yeah.
Those are foundation for a better life.
Right.
Yep.
They used to run those ads. I'm telling you, they need to
Right.
bring those ads back.
Back, yeah.
Man. They used to run those ads. It was called a foundation for a better life.
Right.
And they really like went into detail like, yo, this is how you should treat your fellow human.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you should be.
We are all
Like,
human beings.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these days, these kids, they know video games. They know
Social media.
cell phones,
But
social
That's
media.
what they placed them in front
But,
of.
you know, I mean, I grew up on
Yeah,
Sesame
you
Street.
seen these kids on cell phones
yeah.
watching their TV shows? and
Because
stuff?
it's all they get all their enjoyment because a lot of these phones, the algorithm will just feed them what makes them happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'll just get glued to it.
Right.
And they don't see anything
Yeah.
outside. That's why, like, now, even in tragedy, the first thing people do is this.
Right.
They don't do this.
No.
They don't call 911.
They do this.
They pick
Yes.
up the phone and start recording.
Right.
Crazy stuff.
Right.
Because they're saying to themselves,
Crazy
somebody's
stuff.
going to call 911
Right.
while I record.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean,
Right.
bring Reading Rainbow back, and they're going to be like, what is that?
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
clown it. Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
Or like
like,
you said, when we played outside, or if the street lights turn on, we knew what that meant.
Right.
Or it's just like the little things. Like my brother and I were always outside. We didn't have video games.
Right.
We didn't have cable.
We
We
didn't.
didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
We
And
were always
that
outside.
that gives that's when you develop your imagination.
Oh yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And, I mean, you can pick up a stick. Now this stick became a sword.
Oh, so
Or this-
That's what we used to do.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
We'd be fine with like
Yeah.
napkin.
We would
Yeah.
find sticks in the
rolls
woods.
and
Mm.
We
Yes.
play manhunt.
Or
with
we-
the-
Exactly.
with the floor is lava.
Or we
Right.
take, we take the sheets from the bedroom and we
Yeah.
pretend we're
Yeah.
superheroes
Superhero.
outside.
yes.
Yeah, you know.
Even a bike tire.
Yeah.
A bike
Right.
tire. Now
What
that,
was, when we were skinny enough? Well, when I was skinny, I would literally fit inside the tire, and then he rolled me.
Yes, I remember
He
that.
would roll
That was
me
fun.
down the
We
hill.
would find the truck tire
Yeah.
and he'd get in it and
yes.
It was crazy.
I mean,
But
it-
now you put these kids outside.
what is that?
they don't know
They
what to
don't
do.
know what
There's
to
nothing to do.
do.
They
Yeah.
start hissing like cats.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
The sun.
I mean, even with family gatherings, like my family, we used to play kickball together.
Right.
You know, we went into the field and, you know, family time, okay, we're going to play some kickball, you know.
Yeah.
Softball, and, you know, I hit a girl in the head with the bat, you know, split her open, and my dad and her dad had to rush her to the hospital.
No.
But that's
Football.
what,
But that's something you remember.
That's-
like, that's right.
that's
you know what I'm
family
saying? That's
time,
family
you know?
time.
Yeah.
you know, it just, I don't know, family it means different now than it did before.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, it's no unity. It's I can't stand my mama.
I'll sue you for
Yeah.
not giving me $100.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
was
You're
one
trying to
of my-
teach me something, and
Yeah.
there's like a million social services to
Right.
come after you
Yeah.
from teaching your kids accountability.
Yes.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Responsibility, and it's like
Those are all bad words now
Yeah.
compared to
Right.
what they were back in the
accountability
day.
and responsibility.
What do you mean?
Right.
Right.
What
You
do
can't
you
say that
mean?
to me. That's
Yeah.
emotional abuse. That's mental abuse.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
Yes.
so. How do you want me to raise this kid?
Right. Because, I mean,
You see what I'm
before,
saying?
if I was to say, you know, I'm calling 911, my mama said, call them. I brought you in this world, and I'm going to take you out this
Yup.
world.
Call them. Call the police. Yeah.
But now a kid can call 911 on their
Yep.
parents, and now the officer's saying, "Ma'am, now you know you can't hit your child.
Right.
Hit him. I'm gonna beat him in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay? How about that?
Or
You know
they'll
what
be
I'm
like, "Oh, my mom made me skip dinner. Now you're starving." You
Yeah.
saying?
can't."
Yeah.
It's
Seriously,
like,
are
what
you-
you talking
It's every
about?
little thing now.
It's
Now you
wild.
can't
Let,
do.
if the parents are doing right and chastising their kids right, let them be the parent.
Mhm.
You're not in that household 24/7.
Yep.
So just because my mom told me to clean the room and I don't feel like cleaning the room, or I'm 16 and she tell me to do the dishes and I don't want to do them, you gonna tell her not to let me do them?
Yeah, it's wild.
You know,
It's wild.
what if a 16-year-old says I'm not doing dishes but I'm gonna go get on my phone?
Yeah.
Man, I wish you would.
It was like, what was it? When we was going to Immokalee, and my mom came to pick me and Julie up from school, and I told her,
Oh,
I'm going to a party.
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
was
remember
like,
this.
I'm going to party. She's like, no, you're not. You're going home because it's a school
Oh.
night. You gotta do your homework.
He didn't get into the car.
I didn't get in the car. My mom
went
drove
home.
all the way to Lehigh.
Then he started calling
and I
me
went to
at
the
midnight.
party. I went to the party. It was midnight. I was what, 11th senior? I was 11th grade. I went to the party and party's over. Everyone went home. I'm
And you
like,
didn't have a ride.
I have no ride. They're like, you ain't sleeping here.
Oh,
And my mom said, I ain't picking him
I ain't
up.
pick you up. I started walking.
oh
So
my-
I picked him up.
started
Yeah, I
walking,
picked him
yeah.
up.
He found me
on
82. I
82.
think. He found me on 82
by the motel.
by the motel.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
I was walking. Yeah.
He was gonna walk home. My
Yeah.
mom don't play.
She's like, "You gonna walk home?" I was like, all right. And that
She's
day,
like,
I was
I'm
like,
not picking him up. You're picking him up.
I was like, after that day, oh, I only got one ride. I'm getting in the car.
There
I'm
you
getting
go.
in the car.
There you go. I
That's
bet you
what's
learned
happening.
real quick.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
You
yeah.
trying to be rebellious? Not with mommy.
Yes.
Right.
She would not let me test her.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Wow.
She would not let me test her. Not
And
at
then,
all.
not even another situation where these kids, how can you curse in front of your mom and say every word?
God,
When I said
that
that's a
burns
pet
me
peeve
up.
of mine, and I be wanting to slap them in their mouth. So your mom is right here, but you're dropping F bombs,
Mhm.
B bombs,
Even
FFs,
at her.
and at her, talking
wow.
to her, conversating, and another thing, how can you lay up with a man in your mama house?
That's wild.
How can you bring
Yeah.
another man in your, and y'all in there intimate, and
Yeah.
she's
She's in your
Bro.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
I wouldn't dare do that.
Yeah.
I would not.
That would make me uncomfortable.
That's
That's
what I'm
just like I
saying.
feel like I'm not in my space. This is not my space to be doing that.
We doing
and,
that.
and even in like with other people's parents, even when I meet other people's parents, like I'm the same way because it's like when I'm around your parents, like we will talk, have fun, da da da. But like I can't bring it in me
right.
to just cuss,
Yeah.
like
I can't.
at people's
Yeah,
parents,
we're very
around
respectful.
people's parents.
Yep.
Like even if they're doing it and their parents are going back and forth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I guess their parent wants me to feel comfortable, so they'll, drop a F bomb here. There. I can't.
Right.
Like it's something in
It
me.
feels disrespectful.
Yeah, because my mom put it in me.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just like,
that's how she did it with us. It's like
just
no.
I can't.
That's
I don't know.
just like my kids. They're in their 20s, late 20s, mid 20s. Still yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes sir, no sir. And I was talking to my baby boy last night on the phone, and he was in a store or somewhere getting food, and the lady, she was like, do you want a bag? Would you like a bag? He was like, no ma'am, I'm okay, thank you. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have to
feel it.
unbuckle my belt.
I feel it. You
We're
know,
good.
and that's so rare in this day and age. People are shocked.
Right.
Wow, you're so polite.
You're so
Wow.
mannerable.
you're
Oh, when you
so-
try to open
you're
the
so
door for somebody, they're like, "Why you open the door?"
It threw him off. I literally opened the door for the
He's
dude.
like, "No, man, you can go."
He's like, no, you good. I was like, no, it's fine. Go in. He's like, no, I'm not. Like, you go in. I don't want it. Like, some people, they're thrown off by that,
Right.
because they're not used to just people being cordial, people being respectful.
Right.
people being-
Respectful. Right.
and because it's like now it's like everyone's voice is amplified through the internet, so they get emboldened on the internet by being able to say what they want, and they think that's how real life works.
Right.
And a lot of these kids are growing up thinking the internet is how real life
Yes.
works.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like they'll go on, watch this guy pranking people, disrespecting people on the street, and think, okay, that's how it is.
Right.
Or they'll see, oh, look at all these women or gold diggers on the internet, da da da. That's how women are. So that's how I'm gonna treat them. That's how I'm gonna disrespect
Right.
them.
Oh,
Hold that conversation for when Jolissa gets here and Shamecca. I know you really want to talk about
Oh,
it.
for sure.
But what do you?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
I was gonna say something about that.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was down at the police department years ago. I was down there picking up a crash report.
Mhm.
This guy literally walked in, spoke to me. I spoke. You look like high maintenance.
What
What?
that even mean?
I lost brain cells when.
What? High maintenance.
Yeah, he's like, you look high maintenance. Excuse me? You look high maintenance. Look, your hair, your nails, your feet, there's nothing out of place. You're a gold digger.
What?
Baby.
I wasn't in the church
Ain't
then.
no
Where's my knife?
way.
I wasn't in the church. Yes, I read him from his head to his feet.
Mm.
Because he disrespected me
For
and
sure.
didn't even know.
He don't even know you
Didn't
out
even
the
know
blue.
me.
That's
Right.
the first
Yeah.
Right.
thing. Like, that's wild to me.
So because I leave the house, I choose to leave the house well kept.
Right.
That makes me a gold digger. When I work, I literally
You
work for
right.
everything. I literally
Right.
work.
Because you have self-respect, because you're
Yes.
clean, because you know what I'm saying, you want to watch your attire and your appearance and all that. You're a gold digger.
Yeah. He in the police department, the Fort Myers Police Department.
And that's the thing, because it's like all this crap they see online, they just believe they got to put in minimal effort.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The internet makes everything look so much easier. So it's like I don't need to put as much effort in. I just gotta emulate what I see online.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Me being rude or abrasive will come off as a quirky personality or something like that. Or
Right.
and that's just not how it works. Like there's this disconnect where real life isn't the same as what you see online, and it's perpetuate even more because everyone has a device on their hand.
But I mean, God forbid if the internet goes down.
Oh wow.
God forbid if the
Lost.
internet goes down.
Lost.
Lost.
People
Lost.
be
You think you got an IQ of 5,000 now? Let the internet go down.
It's over. Google
You
ain't
just
answering
as
no
dumb
questions.
as my dog. You know.
Google ain't answering no questions.
Like seriously, what happens to what's that series of books where we used to go and look things up before we had Google? The Britannica.
The Britannica,
Britannica.
yeah, Britannica.
Yeah, Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
I still have my dad still has our stuff. You know, back in the day, and it's like, if you give these people like, well, what is that? I could go to Google. I'll pick up my phone
Google
and
will answer it for me.
no, you know what I'm saying? Google answer for it. Let me talk to Siri. How about that? Let me
that's
ask
facts.
Siri that. You know,
That's
it's
facts.
just
Because everything is microwavable now. It's quick.
It's quick,
Yes.
instant gratification.
Yes.
right.
If it takes too much time or hard
They don't
work,
want it.
I don't want
I
it.
don't want it.
I don't want it. I want the instant gratification. I want to laugh now.
Right.
Let me go watch a funny video.
Right.
I want to
right.
play games now. Stream it.
Right.
I don't gotta go to the store, buy a $60 game,
Right.
buy the console. I could just stream it, play it
Straight
on my
right
phone.
there. Yeah.
You know, and everything's just instant gratification.
Instant.
And it's only, and I feel like technology is leaving behind that the ethics around what society functions on. A lot of the ethics we built our societies on are being replaced by technology, instant
Right.
gratification.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like now I don't have to go out in the real world and actually communicate and talk to people, find relationships, build relationships. I can do it on an app, swipe left, swipe right.
Right.
And it's the first thing I see. You're hot, you're not.
Right.
You know, and it's like, and that's, I honestly feel like that's going to be our downfall, ultimately, where it's like, we rely so heavily on this,
Yeah.
you know, for our information, for our emotional needs.
Mhm.
When we want to eat, we just call someone, they'll deliver it.
Yeah.
You know, and it, you ever seen the movie Wall-E?
Wall-E.
Wall-E, the robot?
The robot.
Yeah,
Yes.
you remember how everyone was just in that floating chair and everything they ever wanted was just right there. In the, yep.
Right. Right.
And that's where I feel like it's going, you know. And I don't know. I don't know what the solution is for it, because this not only, it's a good and a bad thing because it offers a lot more opportunity, a lot more information,
Right.
but it's what we're doing with it which isn't productive.
Right.
It's like out of all the advancements we made within the past 20, 30 years, none of it is being used to, I don't know, push society forward, better society.
Right.
You know, impact lives, and improve the what is it? Not the cost of living, the quality of life.
Yeah.
This was invented to improve the quality of life, and it's doing the complete opposite.
Opposite.
You know, it's turning us into internet monsters where it's like everything's clout, everything
Yeah.
is, you know, fame, everything is money. You know, it's longing for something you don't have.
Right.
Let me think about vacationing in this area because I've seen it a million times on
Right.
the internet, but
Right.
have no idea about the culture, the people,
Yeah.
The danger.
the danger.
dangers, yeah.
You know, and it's like, and that's what the internet does, and you know, especially in this day and age.
Remember the phone book?
The yellow pages.
Yeah, the yellow page.
I bet you.
And then they had the white pages.
The white pages.
With
We could find people address,
people address
and phone
and
number.
everything. Yeah.
I bet you put one in front of a kid right now. They
don't
could
know what's
not
going
use
on.
it.
They don't know what it is. They don't know like what is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Why you have a taxi phone number in this book, or why you have Domino's Pizza,
It's
Hut.
to the point they don't even know their own number. Hey, what's your number? Nah, I'll just text you.
You know, back in the day, we had to remember everybody's phone
Yep.
number. Now it's like you lose your phone or you misplace
Lost.
it. You
It's
be
over.
like, what's the name phone number? I don't know.
Put
Let
an
me go.
APB out.
Yeah.
Put his face on all the milk boxes. I forgot your number. Yo. No, it'd be like it was like we were watching. He introduced me to Stranger Things, the show on Netflix, and I guess it's set in 1983, and
I heard they said everybody should watch that one. I heard
it's
about
good.
that.
It's a good
Stranger
show.
Danger.
No.
Stranger Things.
Oh, Stranger Things.
Yes.
Stranger
Danger.
Stranger Danger.
I remember there was a video cassette about that. I think it was like Scruff McGruff or something.
Yes.
Like that. Scruff McGruff. He told
Oh.
us not to talk to strangers.
Yes.
But
You're not that old. How you know him?
Well,
He's an old soul.
Yes.
Yeah. I grew up on the internet, but I was influenced a lot by my brother and my older sister.
Okay.
So like a lot of they're really old school in terms of like entertainment, in terms of like doing things out there. So like I'm not afraid to step away from the computer and I can exist outside of technology.
If you throw away his phone, he'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be absolutely, because I grew up. I didn't get my first phone until what, ninth grade. Ninth grade, I didn't get until 2009. I didn't get my first phone. So up until then, you know.
Yeah, and I think all of us, we bought our own cell phones when we got grown.
When we got right,
I don't.
I needed a job to pay for the.
Exactly.
Remember the old car phones, the big one.
In the
No, I wasn't
The
alive when
gray
that
one?
happened.
No, you don't. But
Oh.
my mom, and only how I know this because it was a guy on a bicycle, and my mom made the statement, "How you got a car phone riding a bicycle?"
Yo, did it work or was it like?
Yeah, because he had a box with it.
Oh,
So
it's like the
a
battery,
yeah,
right?
The battery, and he was
Yeah.
on the phone.
That's facts.
And
Them
my mom
bulkers.
was like, "See, that's what you not do, okay? This is listen. If you're gonna get a car phone, get it in the car, not on a bicycle."
That's fire.
Oh man.
That's fire. But it was
Right.
like going back to the Stranger Things, where what's his name? His older sister. When you were meeting someone, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's say you met him outside in a social gathering, and you guys wanted to connect. It wasn't, let me get your number.
Yeah,
da,
get
da,
your
da.
number.
It was like, meet me here at
Yes.
this place.
Yes.
Meet me here at this place.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so between that time, you never knew if you were going to see that person ever again.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, every interaction was one precious in its own right because you never knew. Like, you
Right.
could have just met, like, the love of your life. Or
Right.
you could have met someone. But now it's like, I'm scrolling. Oh, man, this is what I want.
Swipe left, swipe
yeah,
right.
this is
Yeah.
what I want in a woman.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what I'll never go here for, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's gotten to this point where it's like, we're fetishizing this idea of what it means to be human with, like have
humans.
interactions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whole cat.
Everything is based, yeah.
I need you to send me an actual video
Yeah,
and say my
everything
name.
is based
I need you to
off
say
of,
my name in that video, please.
Yeah, everything is based off of media and the way media portrays
Portrays things.
how we should talk to people. Nothing is
Yeah.
organic anymore.
Right.
No one has an original thought because we want to act a certain way we see on the
Right.
phones. And you know,
Which is
stuff
why
like
it's
that.
insane when they do those dating apps when you swipe left or swipe right. It's like you don't know the guy's personality. You don't know how that person is as when you meet him. But you're going based off of just his or her looks,
Right.
and that's the crazy thing to me. But
Right. I mean, because people put on a facade, you know. I mean, people are fake. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can hide behind the phone.
Mhm.
You know, I can tell you one thing or show you I'm just a good person when I'm just really trying to get you over here because you're going to be the next skin that I'll be wearing. You know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
exactly.
It's like, really? You know, you don't.
I mean, like you said, it's different. It was different back in the day than it is today.
It is. It is. I mean, I always say we're going to be living like the Jetsons. I've been saying that for years. You know, I'm going to have a robot that's cooked food for me. I ain't gotta cook no more.
It's gonna taste like crap though.
Sure is.
It's not authentic.
Not seasoned.
Not seasoned.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Did you see about that new Taco Bell?
No, what taco?
It's a taco. Again, here it is on the news.
Yep. Yep. See, she don't even watch
I listened. I just heard about it. Like I said, my husband was watching it last night, so that's why I'm thinking about it. Because remember I text you.
Yeah.
But it's a Taco Bell. I didn't watch it all, but it says get your food to you fast. You go up to the drive-thru, it's a window. It orders your food and the machines, everything in it. There's no human in there.
Okay, so they don't need people anymore.
Everything, it mixes your food for you, sends it down a little ramp or whatever, and it gives it to you in like a timely manner. But I'm like, so what if the machine break and now you got food backed up?
Or if it falls over and does all that stuff, unless they keep just a person making sure the operation
They
system
will.
goes up. Yeah, they're just gonna keep one person and make sure the computer's running smoothly, doing all that stuff like that. But other than that, like you said, like my brother was talking about when we did the whole work episode, it's like everything is being replaced by machines.
machines.
Yeah, and like I told him when I went to New Jersey, it was literally a robot sweeping and cleaning the floor. There was no human being there. So, and also at Walmart, like I'm not gonna lie, our generation talks to people less, or the younger
Right.
Z's
Right.
and the Gen Zers. I mean the younger millennials and the Gen Zers. They don't want to interact with human beings anymore. You lock the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was talking to someone and they made the statement that that they were telling their child to go get a job, and he was like, well, what kind of job can I get out there? He said the only job that is an everlasting job is a grocery store.
And
You
even
always
that,
gonna
that's
need
going away,
even
though.
that. Look at Walmart.
Yeah.
You know,
that's going away.
You know, and even Publix. It's Publix in Winter Haven that has self-checkout.
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 So it might not be at every Publix, but it's in Publix.
Basically, the high
Go ahead.
basically the high populated areas with young kids like Tallahassee, Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville, all that other stuff like that. So
He's literally laying down at the door.
that's Bruce for you. Wants attention, even though we're doing.
Separation inside.
Yeah.
That's what he has.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when he knows that a whole bunch of people are in one area, he wants to be in that area. Even if he just lays down on the floor, he'll do that.
Right.
But other than that, that's just how he is. But no, with the whole Publix thing and the self-checkout, it's like you said, they're moving away from the human interaction and just having a conversation, and then just focusing on get in, get out. And on top of that, we save more money that way. So.
But like, remember me and you was talking about people's story. Like when I heard your mom's story, we wouldn't have known her story if she wasn't talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and even things that my mom told us. You know, my mom was back where the dog, cause her and her brothers got the dog sicked on them. And when they marched with Martin Luther King, you know, her and Martin Luther King had the same birthday. But I would have known this if I didn't talk to her.
Right.
It's so many of these older people, you know, 90, 100 years old, and no one's listening to their story.
That's why I
Stories,
like talking. I like conversating with elderly people.
Yeah, because they can tell you
Tell
something.
you.
And
lot.
remember what I told you. Even if I think I know everything, I don't. I said I can learn more from you, and I guarantee you guys know more than I do.
Right. But where's you going to get this from with technology? Technology gives me the history they want me to know.
Right.
But if you ain't been there, done that, then what you telling me? You
It's
know?
giving you objective history. And
Right.
even that objective history was tailored by someone. Because
Right.
like they always say, history's written by the winners.
Right.
You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? Like,
They'll never tell you the bad parts.
No.
right. Or what the bad actors in the good parts. You
Right.
know? And so it's like going off of what you see on the internet, that's just at face value. You're dehumanizing the experience of that history.
Right.
So to really understand that part, you need to speak to people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because they could give you the same information. I could finish his sentences about him telling me something that he did, like a work that he did on his car, but I'll never truly know how difficult that was for him and how he felt making that car,
Right.
or building that car, or installing those parts, or whatever like that. So it's like, it's that aspect where it's like, understand the person rather than the actual, like, the objective truth that's going on.
Yeah.
It's because we all, like I always say, we all view our reality completely different. We could be seeing the same thing and interpret it completely
different. It's like when you read a verse from the Bible, we all interpret it differently.
Differently.
Yeah.
Differently.
And that's why we my brother and I are doing this, because we want to hear you guys' story and everybody else that come before you or after you, because you can tell it at face value, but the way you interpret it is completely different.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So the way you tell it,
Right.
like you put care, feeling, passion into it, and then that can connect with somebody that's probably been through the same thing that you've been through, the same thing that you've been through,
Right.
that we will never
There's that
understand.
understanding. You
Exactly.
can't see that scrolling through Instagram where
No.
they're only showing you the
Right.
best parts of their life.
Exactly.
This
Right.
is my whole life. Look at me, I'm traveling. I'm
But they
doing
don't
Right.
tell you how they got
Yeah.
to
So they
that.
don't tell you how they
Mhm.
got there. They
Right.
don't tell
And the
you
ugly truth
what
is,
they had to
ugh.
do to get there. You know, why they did it. Are they
Right.
happy doing this?
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
they're probably not.
Nah.
I mean,
Nah.
you have the money, but you're not happy doing what you do just
Right.
to get that money.
Because when you have money, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When I've learned in being around millionaires, when the more money you have, the more fear you have,
Right.
because you have the fear of becoming poverty,
Yeah.
and you have the fear of someone taking something from you. It's just the whole point of, you're here now, you're up here now, and then falling, and that causes depression, suicide. You know, it causes a lot of mental
Right.
issues now.
Well, one thing I always told my brother is, even if we ever do get up there or we don't, never forget where you came from.
Exactly.
Right.
If you always remember the basics, even if you do lose all that money, you're not gonna kill yourself, go into depression, all that stuff. Because my mom was up there, she came here, she was down there, and then she worked her way right back up again. And then she taught us those values too. So it's
Yes.
like, even if we do get there, do not forget.
And that shows you who she is. No matter what position she was in,
exactly
those values stayed.
stage,
True.
and then she instilled
You
it
see what
into
I'm
us.
saying? What are your values and what do you want out of life?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? What do you feel is a successful life that you could have lived and say, okay, I'm glad this happened because I am who I am now and I know what
Because
I know
of
now.
what happened.
Because of
What
what happened.
happened. Right.
You know, and how can I use that to build forward and move forward?
And help others.
You know, and help others.
yeah,
Right.
and that's
You know
our
what I'm
goal.
saying?
That really
Pulling
is our
from the
goal.
past experience that
Yeah.
I have.
And how would we not know that unless we talk?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Unless
And
we
that's-
communicate
Unless
with
we
each other.
communicate.
You know,
Exactly.
I can't get your life story or feel what you feel from your life
Mhm.
on social media.
That's
Right.
right.
Exactly.
But by sitting here and hearing your story is like, wow, you went through that? Like you experienced
And
that?
I guarantee you, hundreds and a lot of people will connect with that.
With
Right.
that. Then now it's like, oh wow, well, if she can open up, I can open up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my story.
Right.
And let's, like start this up.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's why I wanted you guys.
Now
on.
we're here to help other people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, where you can, it's okay to talk. It's okay to express your past.
Right.
Because your past is why you're here today.
And it doesn't define
It-
who you are.
No, and it doesn't defile your future neither.
Exactly.
Because we made a choice that even though our life took a turn here, we stayed on that straight and narrow.
Right.
We chose to, okay, I might have fell, but I'm going to choose to get up.
Yeah.
Dust myself off and keep going.
And keep going.
I can't give up.
Yeah.
Why? It's people looking. It's people watching.
Of course.
Or I have the younger ones, you know what I'm saying, looking
Right.
up to me, you
Right.
know. Even with Tri'shawn and me looking up to her, she knows, okay, I have someone looking up to me. So if I fall, I got to get up. Because if she fall and she stay down there,
What good am I
What
doing?
good
well,
am I
yeah,
doing?
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I might as well
That's
just give her, I might as well throw in the towel.
Yeah.
You know, but if I see she got up, even though she done skipped her knee up or her elbow or she got a bump on the head, she took a couple of Motrin and she back at it
back
at
again.
it. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
That's
she's
facts.
back at it again,
That's
and that's what we don't have with social media.
With social media.
You know, we don't have that interaction.
There's no human element.
No.
And like I said, that's what we're trying to change. But
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
we're definitely gonna bring you guys back on.
Oh, for sure.
Again, like we
For
can
sure,
have
for sure.
another conversation. Doesn't necessarily talk about religion if you guys want.
Cause,
Break
and you know, I know we get ready to break, but this is what I was going to say, and this could be part of the next conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Our pastor had, what did he? I think he asked me. I don't know if he asked us as a group or just me. What made us choose God, or what made us choose this walk? You know, we were brought up that way.
Yeah.
But did she and I have to choose? Because we did our own thing, you know.
Right.
I smoked my weed and drank my drink.
Right.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, I went to the club and tried to drop it a little bit. I had my little
Drop it like it's hot.
booty shorts on, and you know. But what made us give it up and say, God, I surrender all to you? Not everybody can do it. It's not an overnight thing. Everything is a process.
Of course.
But when we come back, it's why we chose what we chose, why we choosing this life.
I got tired of the roller coaster.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I got tired of being hurt. I want to be loved.
Yes.
And be loved truthfully.
Yes.
Unconditionally.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
For
it.
sure.
This was
For sure,
fun.
for sure.
This was
Yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I'm
you
glad-
guys-
I'm glad y'all.
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back
definitely.
today.
And I told you you're gonna like my brother. He's literally
I'm
just
glad
me,
y'all came
skinny,
back,
with
guys.
hair, and he's
Yeah, I
taller.
learned a lot. I met wonderful people. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love
And
it.
I mean, even now, you know, you have your questions, and we could revisit certain
Right.
things
Yeah.
and
Always.
answer more questions.
Always.
So this was nice because you're crazy. I always tell Jeff you're
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy. I
I'm
know
like
I'm
your brother. The
I
stuff
mean,
he
you saw him
says.
dissecting the universe
Like,
right in the beginning. So
I just, for me, like, I have faith in God because I want to understand my purpose. What is the purpose
why
of
are we
humanity?
here? Yeah.
You
Why
see
are
what I'm
we here?
saying? What is the true purpose of humanity? Are we here just to experience existence? Are we here to, like, live and die? Are we here to spread love? Like, and if that is the case, how are we doing it so wrong?
What is your devastation? What is your traumatic? What traumatized you? What did you overcome from that dramatic, traumatizing state?
Because, like, for me, when I go through situations like that, it just gives me another layer of, now I know the spectrum of humanity, good to evil. Like, I understand, like, I feel like it gives me a lot more information on how I want to move forward with my life and what I want to put back out into the world.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the question, I was asking a question to answer your question.
Oh, okay.
What traumatized you? What dramatic experiences have you been through? And usually when you go through some type of dramatic death experience, almost death experience,
Oh, near death.
near death experience, where that's your purpose. How did you overcome that? What did you learn from that? And it made you a better person. Did it make you change from being one way to who you are now and where you are now? That's your purpose.
So there's no, because for me, I always felt like I was looking for an end goal, like a final form that I could look back and be like, this is the best version of me, and I accept it and I'm proud of it, and I'm glad that I'm in this position. This is the final version. I can look back and be like, I'm proud of what I've done and
And
what
now
I've
you can
become,
give
and
back.
have no regrets
Yeah.
Right.
along the way.
Yeah.
And now you can
That's
give.
your
Nah.
purpose.
Yeah.
That's your purpose.
So you've
you're
had
not-
the answer.
You've had it. Yeah. You're
You just overlook it. I mean, you're just overthinking.
He's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
yeah.
That's him.
You
He
overthinking
overthinks it.
Yeah. You
It's
know.
right there.
Look at
It's
that.
right there.
It only
Right
took
there.
both of them for you to discover that. You didn't
It's
need me.
right there.
Look at that. You're only 27 and you discovered your purpose.
See, you know.
Yeah, you're very intelligent. Very.
Don't tell him
very
that. Then he's
intelligent.
gonna.
yes.
Don't
But
tell
you're
him
an
that.
overthinker.
That's what it is.
And you can damage yourself by overthinking.
He does that a lot.
You can.
Remember,
That's
'cause
why I
told
ground
him-
him. That's why I ground him.
That's why I told Jeff about something you was talking about. I said, Jeff, bring him in, bring him back in.
Because you were talking about something and then you went off.
Yeah.
And then for me, I have to bring you back in
Yeah.
because you forget what you were originally talking
So
about.
I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, I can't swim. I said, but he's not throwing me a life vest.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking and you put me out there, bring me back home. And you know, I get that from church.
Don't take me out there and leave
Don't
me.
take me out there no more
Yeah,
and
yeah.
leave me. You know, I can't swim and I don't float neither.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it.
So take me out there. You know, give me the information I need, but reel me back on in.
Yeah.
Reel me
And then
back
that's
in.
where I come in, where I ground him and I'll keep him from doing that. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Or like he'll forget his thought and I'll say, he's
Yeah.
like, what was I? And then I'll,
And that happened one time
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah,
But he
exactly.
stayed on task the whole
Exactly,
time. Like
exactly.
he was like right on. And hearing you and seeing you being in front of you is like two
I
different
told
things
you.
now.
I told you.
Because I was like, Jeff, he is like wilding out.
Yeah, I told you. Like,
But you the way you're intellectual and how you speak and how you talk on things,
Yes.
and you're not young and dumb, you know how some people will put it, but you want to learn.
Yeah.
You're open to learn, and you
Curious.
yes. So it's you don't judge off rip,
Right.
but you want to know why is why.
Why is
Why is
why it is what it is.
what it is. Yeah. So that's good.
So, young ladies, how would you like to leave off? Any final thoughts for
Any
our
final thoughts
listeners?
For us? Yeah.
For the listeners.
Anything that you guys
Maybe
want to
some
promote, talk
advice,
about,
yeah.
advice, words of wisdom? Because trust me, as smart as we try to sound, you guys know more than we do. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
maybe she do.
See, she's being modest. She's being
That's
modest.
what it is. She do. She
She's being
do.
modest.
Words of wisdom.
That you want to tell us or to our listeners or our viewers?
Don't give up.
That's yeah.
Don't give up.
Oh, we
Don't give
definitely
up.
are not giving.
Don't give
I told
up.
this happened. This is gonna be
Yes,
successful. I don't
yes.
care.
I'm so proud of both of you.
I appreciate you
am
for
so
that.
proud.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate
told
that.
Jeff
That
It's
comes
a,
a lot.
Yes.
it's a push
Yes.
for me, myself.
Yeah.
Because it's your first time.
Yes.
Ah,
Oh,
look at that. Look
yeah,
at that.
yeah,
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 first time for
for
both
sure.
of you?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
First time for
Oh,
both of you guys.
It
Right.
is a push for me because I am the type I don't like to speak. I'm very private.
Mhm.
Always have
Mhm.
been. And I've been should have been on my third book by now. And I've gotten this prophecy for many, many years, ever since high school, that I need to write a book.
Ooh.
And I haven't started yet, and because I don't know where to start. But to actually speak and to hear myself speaking,
Mhm.
I've always been so shy and so afraid because I don't like my voice, and I feel like I'm gonna.
That's what I keep hearing
Sound
from
like
everybody.
myself.
I
Yeah,
don't want to
I
come
love
on.
your voice.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
your
so
voice.
calm.
It's
It is.
sweet,
It's
calm,
really
soft.
like,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh man, we're gonna chill today.
Yeah.
I love your voice.
But this is a great push for me, and
In the right direction.
In the-
Hopefully that
right.
helps you move forward. And then when we come back, you're going to be talking about, I started my book. And then when you come back again, I wrote my first book, promote it,
Right.
do whatever you got to do.
Absolutely.
Because like I said, for my brother and I, it doesn't matter how far we go with this. 70% of the population is the people. We're not going to go look for movie
We're not
stars.
looking for celebrities.
We're not looking for celebrities,
Right.
movie stars.
Right.
You guys are the story. And we're
Right.
going to keep putting a voice to average
Because
every
the
day.
movie stars just perpetuate that idea of
Yeah.
They're in their own bubble.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes.
see what
So
I'm
they don't
saying?
know what real life is.
Real
They're
life
only
is.
telling
Right.
you, this is how I struggled, this is where I got, but I forgot everybody that
Yeah,
came behind
That's
me.
it. That's it.
We're not going to
Yeah.
do that.
so no test, no testimony.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
So
There
you
you
have to
go.
go through tests in
Yeah.
order to have a testimony,
Exactly.
to have a
Right.
story.
Exactly.
That's fact.
And then whatever you go through, wherever you go to, just know you're gonna be able to go through it.
Yeah.
You know, don't stop. Keep stepping. Put one foot in front of the other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because as long as you do that, you're gonna keep moving forward. You know, you might come up to a block in a road or a brick. Use it as a stepping stone. Step over it. You're not gonna stop me because I'm gonna keep going. I have goals. I want to achieve things. You know, we don't get to where we want to get to overnight.
Nope.
It's a process.
Yep.
But stay at it. Stay at it. Stay around positive people. Because the negativity going to come every day, all day.
Oh, yeah, all of it.
But choose that no matter what negative, because, you know, people, like I also told Jeff how proud I am because he did it, he stuck with it, and it didn't take you guys years to do it.
Yeah.
You know, even with, you know, the block in the wall,
Yeah.
you know, the brick with the relationship. It never stopped you from this.
No.
You
no,
know,
it
it might have slowed you down or maybe you had to go around it, but you kept going forward. You know, and some things you have to go around. You can't go through it. You know, because if you go through it, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
So go around it and keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, the light is at the end of the tunnel, not in the middle.
Yeah.
What was it like Mr. Miyagi said? The way to avoid trouble is no be there.
No be no be there.
Be there.
Yes, just keep going and surround yourself with positivity.
For sure.
You know, it's somebody for everybody.
But I really appreciate you guys for coming
Thank you
on.
for having us.
Yep. And then we'll definitely get both of you guys back on again.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Shamecca is gonna be back in a week.
In a week?
A week? Yeah.
Oh,
with Joe Lissa.
right.
Yeah, that's gonna be
With
relationship
your daughter. Your daughter. So see what I'm saying? I'm the sister, she's the daughter. So.
Okay, yeah. But like I said, everybody that interacts with my brother is gonna like him because, like I said, he's just me but skinny with hair.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This was an experience.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that helps you guys push forward with whatever ideas that you have or anything that you want to move forward with, and then that goes to show you that anything is possible if you push yourself.
You want a cheesecake? She makes the best cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
Strawberry,
It
pineapple.
good.
Yes.
I had the pineapple.
Listen.
Make some for him. I can't have any cheese.
Oh yeah. He's lactose intolerant
I'm
too.
lactose intolerant.
But he's still gonna eat it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm trying to discover a way for
lactose-free cheesecake.
Yes. Listen.
Yeah.
No, but I'll definitely eat it. Like it's worth it. Like if it's cheesecake, like I will set time and be like, all right.
We used to give him cheesecake wheels for his birthday.
For my birthday, I didn't get real cake. Like I wanted cheesecake. I love
But
cheesecake.
I mean, you know how the cheesecake look? If you look, her cheesecake don't look like that cheesecake. It's her own.
It's so whippy.
It's just.
it's like light and.
Oh my goodness! Listen.
I sound like a fat person.
I went over to her house before I got my hair done for my birthday on Saturday. She's like, "Oh, you got a pie in there, cheesecake in there." I took it home and I sat on the side of the bed and I'm eating it. So my husband like, "Are you gonna share?" I said, "Here go a spoonful." Take the spoon.
Yeah, you got a spoon.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And then when I was done, I closed it up. I said, "Now you can take it and put it in the refrigerator." He's like, "Well, where's mine?"
Where'd you leave?
Yeah,
But-
I'm gonna be doing cheesecake in a jar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's doing
I-
That sounds solid.
I'm gonna be doing
Yes.
this very, very soon.
Yes.
So
But I need you to push forward with your book, and I need you to push forward with your jewelry business. You ain't giving up on that. We already started something. You gonna
Yeah,
push
you
it.
did. You did. You
You gonna
did.
push it.
Thank
So
would
you.
have been farther
Yeah.
had not she would have did what she did
Yeah.
on her own. She would have been a lot farther.
oh yeah, I know. And then that's why I give her words of encouragement and
Right.
tell her that she can do it. She can
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
But like I said, I appreciate you guys coming back.
Thank
Thank
you guys.
you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Peace out.
Peace
Alrighty, y'all. We're signing out. Thank you for joining us at the table with our guests.
Shamecca and Tri'shawn.
Absolutely. And you folks have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.